The 1985 Orange Bowl is brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth, who invites you to discover the new technology of driving at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. By Bud Light, the less filling light beer with the first name in taste. By Wang. Wang puts people in front of computers. And by Delta Airlines, 36,000 professionals serving more than 100 cities in the U.S. and overseas. Delta gets you there.
Miami, Florida, an exciting place to be on New Year's Day night, as again for the third time in 4 years, the Orange Bowl has a direct bearing on who will reign as national champion. Barry Switzer on the ropes after 3 4-loss seasons, and his Sooners came back for him this year, a new 5-year contract, perhaps a national championship impending. Barry Switzer, an upbeat man, and so is Don James, another coaching veteran. They've never been across the field before, nor have the Washington Huskies and the Oklahoma Sooners. This is their first meeting ever. First time a Washington team has ever come to the Orange Bowl. Oklahoma's here for a 13th time. Tim Lasher, a walk-on sophomore, is ready to kick the ball off for the Sooners, and they're crimson and white. Back deep for the Washington Huskies, number 1, Lonzel Hill, number 23, David Trimble. So the final moments of waiting are over for Coach Switzer, the Sooners for Coach James, and the Huskies, and we're underway. 1-yard line, David Trimble, a wide receiver, breaks it for the moment, then comes out across the 20 to the 21-yard line. And so the Huskies come out on offense. They run primarily from the I formation, a big offensive line. Gogan at right tackle weighs 290. The quarterback is a junior, Dean's List pre-medical student, Paul Cicero. His wide receivers are very schooled and very excellent. Green particularly could be a number 1 draft choice in the NFL. Danny Green. Patterson runs the precise routes. They don't go to roten that much. Cicero at quarterback. Jacques Robinson, the tailback, with 10 touchdowns in his last 4 games this season. Benny blocks at fullback. The Huskies come out 1st and 10 from their 21. Cicero putting it up early, and it's incomplete. The Sooners, the toughest team in America to run the ball on. They give up only 68 yards a game to the opponent's rush. There is the front wall of Oklahoma. Casillas, the middle guard, one of the great players in college football, a 290-pounder, a consensus All-American. Bosworth, a redshirt freshman, but a second-team All-American at linebacker, an excellent player. The secondary somewhat suspect against the pass. So Washington come out throwing, and maybe they will again on 2nd and 10. Kickback. Kenny lost the handle. Washington fullback. Ryan Hall, the pressure on, and we'll take another look at that, Bob.
Well, the Washington Huskies are a running football team. They like to give it to Jacques Robinson up the middle. The Oklahoma Sooners, the number 1 team in the country against the rush in college football, primarily because of the strength up the middle. Casillas, Bosworth, oh, those guys are tough. Now, here's the key matchup. Ernestine versus Casillas. Center on nose tackle.
3rd down and 13. Cicero taking the deep drop. Now he gives it off, and on a draw play, tailback Jacques Robinson comes straight up the middle, but he's way short of the 1st down. So the Sooners, who won the toss and elected to kick off, as they often do because of their great defense, set the tone early, and they stop the Huskies cold.
Not a bad sign for Washington. One of the big parts of their offense is that sprint draw. They got no yards whatsoever on that possession at all, and the sprint draw is a part of their offense that they must get a lot of yards with.
There is Thane Cleland ready to punt the ball now for Washington, not a long-distance punter. Senior Buster Rhymes from Miami ready to run it back, one of the dangerous return men in the country. Good punt, well hit downfield. Drives Rhymes back. He's to his 29, and here comes Buster. Breaks it, look out. Inside the 40, and finally Buster Rhymes, who's been somewhat of a disappointment his senior season, delivers the big play for Oklahoma, the first time the Sooners get the ball. A 49-yard punt, returned 38 yards by Buster Rhymes.
When you play a ball game like this, Don, it's been 4 weeks since either of these teams really mind-wise. After 4 weeks of hitting your own opponent, you want to go out there and hit that different colored helmet and jersey, and so far Oklahoma's done an excellent job.
Right now, the Sooners go on their first play from scrimmage. Danny Bradley with a wing step. This is the veer offense. The play fake. Bradley with his own number takes it ahead, but not for much. Looking at the Oklahoma Sooner offense, you ain't got size, you ain't got nothing, they say at Oklahoma, and the offensive line averages 275. Shepard, wide receiver, a fleet one on the flank. Jackson, a great freshman at tight end. Bradley at quarter. Sewell and Tillman, the halfbacks. Lydell Carr, a blocking fullback.
I'll make this comment. There's Ron Holmes, the All-American defensive lineman. Has already gone out holding his knee for the Huskies.
Consensus All-American goes down on the first play. Now, Bradley pitching back, almost a loose football, but Sewell gets it, and he's out of bounds on a 2nd down and 8 play inside the 30. Pretty well defensed by Washington early in the game. Ron Holmes made every All-America first team. As you pointed out, Trump, right early, he went down with this knee.
Now, this would really hurt. The Huskies lost inside linebacker Krakowski earlier in the week. A great defensive player. Holmes, the best defensive lineman they have. The Huskies wanted to employ a 2-5-4 defense to try to stop the wishbone. Without Holmes in there, I don't think they can play that defense. In fact, they're not right now. They're going with the 34.
Bruce Crone is in to replace him as the Sooners go 3rd and 6. Bradley dropping a good rush, and they're going to get Danny Bradley all the way back at the 48-yard line. A great play by the strong safety, Jim Rogers. They call it the Purple Rain defense. Up front, Holmes was the starter out now. Elford and Lewis, a couple of good pass rushers. Linebackers, the strength perhaps of this defense. Meamber and Kelly in the middle, excellent players. So small on the right outside. The secondary, Vesti Jackson at the left is the best cornerback, and you saw the work of Jim Rogers at strong safety. Free safety Peoples is also a big league hitter. Now the Sooners thrown back on the passing down, and here's a bad snap from center, and Washington's coming in on the ball, and they get the punter, Mike Winchester. So after the big return of a Washington punt, the Huskies come up with big league defense, and now they take over the ball at the 40-yard line of Oklahoma.
The punter lost 11 yards on that play. The previous play, the quarterback lost 19 yards, minus 30 on the last 2 plays, and the Huskies have the ball.
So the excitement coming early in the 1985 Orange Bowl.
Coaches never know how young players are going to respond to pressure. There you see sophomore punter Mike Winchester, a walk-on in his first chance here in the Orange Bowl, failing. That's a good snap. That ball should be caught, spun off easily.
Jim Peoples was in there to get him. So now, Washington's second possession starts on the Sooner 41-yard line. A scoreless Orange Bowl so far. Here comes Jack Robinson on a power pitch. Cuts up field, and Jack Robinson rips it ahead. He's got 12, and a Washington first down.
Flag down, Don.
Yeah, there is, right at the line of scrimmage, so it could go against the Huskies.
On the stop, along with Darrell Reed.
Paul Miliazzo on the tackle.
Looks
and
like
one
Oklahoma, Trump.
Yeah, the gain is going to stand. Watch Casillas here on the center. This is our big matchup offensively for the Huskies, defensively for Oklahoma. And frankly, Ernestine's got to do a better job. Casillas, for a guy who is 290 pounds, has great mobility. It's offsides against Oklahoma, so the gain will stand.
Gain stands. Offside decline. They give him a 13-yard gain now, so the Huskies have the ball down to the 29-yard line of Oklahoma. Oklahoma with its 13th Orange Bowl appearance. Washington here for the first time. 12 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Sekiro on a rollout. Going deep. He's got a man wide open. Danny Green. It's touchdown, Washington. Tony Rayburn, Trump, doing his best, but Danny Green, a 4-3 sprinter, projected as a possible first-round NFL draft choice. Beats him deep. They've been working on this, as we saw all week in practice.
29 yards on the pass and catch, and that was a busted coverage. Oklahoma had nobody even close. When the motion started by Patterson, it did appear that Oklahoma was a little bit confused. Green standing down there all by himself. Offensive line a good time protecting Sekiro. An easy touchdown, a very easy touchdown.
Now the extra point try. The kick is up and good by Jeff Jager. And with 11:52 to play in the first quarter, the underdog Washington Huskies strike first.
Watch Green. He runs just a little flat pattern, and then he's just lost. Tony Rayburn just didn't go with him. He busted the coverage completely. I mean, the referee had a chance to knock the ball away, but he was the only one. Watch this. Look at the time. He's covered by the tuba player.
Nobody near him, and Green's in the end zone on the payoff, and we'll be back with the Huskies kickoff. Back at the 1985 Orange Bowl, Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Lots of things happening early as Washington jumps out to a 7-0 lead.
Don, we got the opening game jitters here for both football teams. I think a busted coverage by Oklahoma gives a little confidence builder, certainly, to the Washington Huskies. And you realize that Oklahoma had gone 6 games in a row without allowing a point in the first quarter.
So we're set to kick it off again now as Jagers into the ball, a high spinner, not very deep. Buster Rhymes, who ripped off that 38-yard punt return, spins upfield, comes to the 28-yard line. Now let's go down to the playing field to Bill McAtee. Bill?
All right, Don. Holmes has a strained knee. He tried to get up when Washington scored their touchdown. He took one step, and then he sat back down. They want to keep him off the knee for a little while, but they do expect him to return.
That's good news for the Huskies and their fans that they expect Ron Holmes to return.
It's also bad news for Ron Holmes, though. This guy is a surefire first-round draft choice. You don't want his last collegiate football game to result in a serious injury that might require surgery.
David Rill in his 5th linebacker now. Oklahoma with the big punt return, unable to capitalize. Now they're down 7-0 are the Sooners in the first quarter. Bradley straight dropping a long ball. He's going for Derek Shepard, a sprinter out of Odessa, Texas. Stride for stride with J.C. Pearson, one of the Washington cornerbacks.
And all week long we've heard from Barry Switzer that all the credit in the world for the offensive success of Oklahoma goes to this young man. 4 years ago, came down from, where was it, Arkansas, to see, see Barry Switzer with his high school coach. Said, I want to play for Oklahoma and someday play in the Orange Bowl. Well, tonight his wish comes true.
He's got that, but he's got his work cut out for him now. Danny Bradley, the engine in the Sooners offense. 70% of the difficulty, they say, of this offense is directly on his shoulders, and he loves it. 2nd down and 10 now for the Sooners. Hit back. Running with the ball is Spencer Tillman, a free football. It's out of bounds, though. It'll be in bounds when it comes back to the Sooners. Couldn't get it, could the Huskies. That purple rain defense they talk about. All over the ball.
One of the things the Huskies want to do against the wishbone is get to the exchange point. Now, you'll watch the Washington defensive line get in there. Hadley, 59, has taken on the blocker up front. See the ball loose there. If they can string it to the sideline with those 5 linebackers, you can see the 2 defensive down linemen. Everyone else around there, all linebackers, 5 of them.
Now the Sooners with a long range down, 3rd down and a long 7, almost 8. Here's Bradley calling up the middle. Danny Bradley, elusive, and he might have it. It looks like he does. A great last move by Bradley. And he's ahead for what appears to be a 1st down. Let's watch, Crump, how this wishbone works.
There are 3 options in the wishbone. That's the dive. And that's really predetermined by what the defense does. The second option, of course, is the keep. And this is what Danny Bradley does so well. Number 3 is the pitch. Now, the problem with the defense, Don, is you've got to break down a lot of what you've taught your defense, and you want them to play a defensive position. You don't want a defensive power against the wishbone.
You have to wait for Bradley to commit. Bradley says it's really the defense that dictates what we can do. 1st and 10 Sooners on the Bradley run. First back through is the fullback, and Lydell Carr takes the ball out to about the 43-yard line as we have a lot of time still remaining in the first quarter. 10:50 to play in the quarter. Washington scoring on a 29-yard touchdown throw from Cicero to Danny Green.
For the first time in a lot of years, people are talking about the Oklahoma defense as opposed to the offense. The leading rusher for the Sooners is Lydell Carr, the fullback. That's not the design of the wishbone. The 2 guys on the wishbone, the 2 running backs, are supposed to be the big ground game.
So the Washington Husky not real happy about being in Miami on an 80-degree night. Not looking at the game, but right now, Bradley with 2nd and 6 guns the ball, and it's tipped away. Tim Meandra, linebacker, whose dad played for Oklahoma, got a hand on the ball for Washington. And he was looking at Derek Shepard. Neither of these teams give up much run so they're going to be throwing the ball a lot.
One of the things that we noticed, I think, in practice all week, Don, is that Washington is not going to really try to get to the quarterback, make a certain penetration, and then get their hands up. Bradley is not a very tall quarterback, and they figure if they can just get the ball batted down. He's now 0 for 2, and one's been tipped.
They're down and 6. Marker goes down, could have a delay of game. Strength of this Husky team is a tough, well-coordinated defense. They force more turnovers than any college football team in America. They had 51 takeaways this year.
This is going to be on Oklahoma. Yeah. Right tackle move.
So the Sooners misfire as they set up for a 3rd and 6 play. Now they'll have to go 3rd and 11. David Dillingham, the right tackle, moved early.
Still the jitters.
It's a dead ball. False start
Jimmy
on the
Harper,
offense.
the referee. Barry Switzer had a similar problem to this. In '78, he brought his Sooners in to play Arkansas. Arkansas was rated such an underdog it was off the board. And all Oklahoma had to do was win the game to win the national championship. Arkansas, all they remember, that watched that great Orange Bowl, rolled behind the running of Roland Sales and blasted the Sooners, not just beat them. Switzer's been preaching that all week. Not to forget it, here is a blitz and the safety. Peoples got Bradley, slowed him down, and finally the kill is made by the outside linebacker Fred Small and inside backer Joe Kelly.
Right now, Don, you can see that Washington, from behind the offense, is doing a great job of disguising their defenses. Look there, Kelly, untouched, absolutely untouched.
Interesting look from high above the Orange Bowl on the sky cam. Now Mike Winchester, who lost 10 yards, fumbling the snap, his first punt attempt, ready to try again. Back deep is Ron Milas for the Huskies.
People. Ooh.
Coming hard, almost got to the ball.
Whoa.
Milas will return it from the 24. Good coverage by the Sooners, a team that's had excellent special teams play all year. A 43-yard kick, a return of 4. Washington goes again.
Watch how close he gets to this. Well, it's not that close from that angle, but we don't get that angle very often.
In 1939, a sellout crowd of more than 32,000 fans came to watch Oklahoma meet Tennessee. The crowd was thrilled by the speed and power of Tennessee's Bob Suffridge, whose dynamic shoulder charge pushed his team to victory 17-0.
And here tonight on a beautiful January 1st evening in Miami, Florida, Oklahoma again in the Orange Bowl. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy with 9:23 to play in the first quarter. A look from behind, and now we come to the offensive set of the Huskies. First down and 10, they lead the game 7-0. Second back through is the I-back. Jack Robinson, who was the most valuable player as a freshman in the 1982 Rose Bowl, runs the ball straight ahead for short yardage to the 32.
There's some talk on the Oklahoma sideline. Unfortunately, Don, there's no speech for a coach to make to get rid of those jitters. The players have to accomplish that themselves. And right now, Oklahoma has got butterflies.
There's been some early mistakes, one on coverage, resulting in the only score of the game so far. Washington leading 7-0 on a touchdown throw. Jack Robinson working hard, and Robinson rips up a good gainer. Coming behind the left side of his line, pulling, he goes ahead for 12 yards. Great names. Hugh McElhenney in the career rushing list of the Washington Huskies, and Robinson ranking 4th right now.
Robinson's come on late in this season. Last 4 games, he averaged over 100 yards per game. And he was the, there you go, freshman Rose Bowl MVP. Hasn't really lived up to that, though, in the last 3 years.
Play fake by Cicero. Big rush. He gets it away, hits his fullback, Finney, and he's across the 50-yard line and very close to yet another Washington first down. Some excellent play faking by the junior. Paul Cicero is a Dean's List pre-medical student, a 3.9 student on the 4-point system, and that one was good for an 11-yard gain. They spot the ball. That's going to be about a 10-yard gain. Looks like they're going to bring the markers out.
Did you see him hammer Darrell Reed to the ground on the sideline? These are 2 very physical football teams. The thing that you'll see Washington do all night, Don, is spread it around. Robinson here, the fullback, the tight end, Danny Green, Patterson, They don't really rely on one guy to get it all done. First down, Washington.
First down indeed, a 10-yard gain and a first down for the Huskies as they advance the ball across midfield.
Now watch the end of this play. You can always pick out those college fullbacks. Watch. Boy, he puts that young man to the ground. I said it was Darrell Reed. Actually, it was Tony Rayburn.
Look at this disparity. Oklahoma on the minus side in offensive yardage. First and 10. Washington Huskies from the 47 of the Sooners. Robinson. Our sweep to the short side doesn't get much. Richard Reed ran it out of bounds, the left tackle. Asked Don James, the coach of the Huskies, if he felt ready. He said, I've been in this game a long time, coach. He said, I've never felt ready yet. Sometimes I wonder if we'll get 11 guys out there. Huskies going to go to sleep on it.
Yeah, well, his team's ahead. Someone should tell him.
Second down and 10. No gain on the sweep. Actually, a slight loss on the play. Cicero takes the draw. He's throwing to an open receiver. And again, it's Danny Green off the left flank this time, ripping ahead for a Husky first down. Two balls have gone to Green, one for a 29-yard touchdown, this one for a 20-yard gain on 2nd and 11.
Big play man for the Washington Huskies. Now we'll watch it from the defense. This is Brian Bosworth. He's playing with a bad knee. And we'll see. He kind of slips and falls. I don't think that had anything to do with his injury whatsoever. But up front, watch Casillas on Ernest once again. Our key matchup, Washington offense to Oklahoma defense. Whoa. This is an All-American junior who got 10 sacks in 11 games. That's not bad at all.
And every play he's against a double or triple team. Casillas in the middle over the center is a player to watch. That time, Finney, the fullback, chopped him. Finney now gets the ball on the run. On first down, he gets good yardage. Left side of the Washington line, Maher and Robertson blocking well against the big Sooner front.
So far, a real diversity of offense here for Washington. So that Oklahoma can't really sit on someone and figure out what they're going to do. They've spread it around very well.
Don James, Trump said to run against Oklahoma, as we look at Danny Bradley on the sideline, wait to get back in there. To run against Oklahoma, you can't miss a block. Their athletes are so good, if you miss one block, that player that's missed will make the play and stop it. So far, Washington has been connecting on the blocks and on the throws. They go 2nd and 2 now inside the 20. Denny. The fullback goes hard, and he's going to be close to a first down. Looks like he might have it. They might have to measure. Bosworth, the inside linebacker, and Rayburn, the safety, were in on the stop. Clock winds down to 6:40 to play in the first quarter.
This redshirt freshman for the Oklahoma Sooners, Bosworth, is an exceptional football player. Larry Switzer thinks he's one of the best there is in the country. Look at that lateral speed. Keeps his shoulders lateral to the ball carrier, so the ball carrier can't cut back, and when he hits you, you go down.
They say he's going to be the best backer they've ever had at Oklahoma, out of Dallas, Texas. Much like Jack Lambert, his idol. Very quick on the drops. He can also blitz. Cicero takes a look, swings it out. Good stick by the free safety Rayburn, but there's some yardage gained on the play to Rick Finney.
Once again, Washington is just running through their game plan here, Don. Oklahoma's stopped nothing. They've gone at the Finney twice, once to that side, once to the other side. He's run it several times. They're running a tight end in motion. And it can't be confusing to Oklahoma. I just don't think they're emotionally ready to play right.
Well, they'll get there. They're awfully keyed up to the game. Both sides are. Washington coming in as a decided underdog, and they love that role. They like to be the underdog, Don James says. It's tough to wait a month while you're considered a favorite. Jack Robinson on a first down carry gets the ball inside the 15-yard line. Huskies leading 7-0 in the first quarter, well within field goal range. Both these teams have excellent kickers inside the 40. They don't have the long-range boomer if the game comes down to that.
You can see Jack Robinson there trying to cut back. Ernest, he tries to get Casillas on the ground. He's there to help on the tackle.
So Oklahoma defense is real tough in the red zone. The payoff end inside the 20. Nebraska tried 13 plays inside the Oklahoma 30. Got 13 yards. They really shut it down close. That now, though, is Jack Robinson. Breaks it up the gut and takes it down to the 1-yard line. Counter play, and Robinson coming across a great trap block up front He's now gained 43 yards and 7 carries, and right now the Huskies at point-blank range, threatening to go in again. They lead 7-0.
Don, I can't emphasize enough. They're running every play they got in their offense. You see the turnaround and the tackle trap. 75. Dennis Maher just absolutely nailed Casillas, taking advantage of Casillas' attack mode. Watch him come across that line of scrimmage. Bam! Blind side. Robinson up behind it. Through the 1.
Long drive here, Trump, at the 11th play coming up, and it could be a payoff play. Cicero sprinting out, throwing, looking, and the ball slipped away. A beautifully executed play by the strong safety, Sonny Brown. Saving it, but for the moment, another Washington touchdown with 4:28 to play in the first quarter.
Watch how close this is to a great play. I think the strong safety picks it up late. This doesn't look like the pattern that they draw it up on the chalkboard. See, the receiver turns inside and shouldn't. Sonny Brown there to break it up.
Big down now, though. 2nd and goal. Sooners jam the front, and they can't hold out the Huskies as Washington, Jack Robinson runs it in. And all of a sudden, in the first quarter, the underdog Huskies from Washington have broken open this game at least early, 13-0.
Now the question, is Oklahoma thinking about that national championship before they think about Washington?
I don't think they are anymore. You know, one place they're cheering in Salt Lake City.
Watch this. From above the play, you can see the bow and the defensive line of scrimmage. Now, all the writers and all the buildup for this football game, Washington was not supposed to be able to do that to Oklahoma. We repeat that the Oklahoma Sooners are the most difficult team to run against in the NCAA.
Only 68 yards a game did the Sooners give up on the average, but Washington's doing everything against the Oklahoma defense that ranks #2 in the country overall. Extra point by Jaeger is good again, and with 4:24 to play in the first quarter, Jack Robinson on the replay takes it in again. So far, Huskies making it look easy. Long way to go, though. High above the Orange Bowl, a look from the Goodyear Blimp Enterprise from Pompano Beach, Florida, piloted by Captain Don Plaskanek from Randolph, Ohio, a 15-year veteran with Goodyear. This is his 10th Orange Bowl. 3 times in the last 4 years, this great game on New Year's Day night in Miami has had a direct bearing on the national championship of college football. Washington, the underdog, jumping out to a surprise 14-0 lead. Jaeger with the kickoff, booms it deep. Here comes Buster Rhymes. And he's got a load of speed, and he gets the open gate for the moment and takes it all the way out to the 39 or 40-yard line. So Rhymes has been the best weapon on the returns in the Oklahoma Sooner attack.
Looks to me like Oklahoma's running out of time to make that stat stand up. Wouldn't you agree? 50 yards already, 4:15 to go in the first quarter. And you want to know Oklahoma's real problem, Danny Bradley, the key to the offense. He's 0 for 2 in passing. He has 4 rushes, minus 14 yards.
That's good to see, Trump. Ron Holmes, the All-American, back in at left tackle. He went out first series with a knee injury. Running back Lydell Powers, freshman fullback, and he lost the ball, and it looks like, indeed, Ron Holmes has come up with a football. Fred Small gets it. Holmes freed it. 3rd fumble, 1st loss. Sooners having trouble. They've been misfiring from the outset.
He does get kind of folded here, but watch. This young man is an All-American, All-Conference player in the Pac-10. He strips the ball away, and that's now the 52nd turnover that the Washington Huskies have gotten in this season. First tonight.
The first tonight. And again, Trump, they're going to start out on the Oklahoma side of the field. They're just inside the Sooner 45-yard line. 4:10 to play in the first quarter. Green at the lower portion of your screen like a loaded gun. Defense are looking at Green, and here it goes. Green is open. He comes down with the ball, did he?
No. Touchback.
Touchback. It's an intercepted ball. Jim Rockford, the right cornerback, with the play of the night so far for the Sooners. We watched a whole practice where they were throwing long to Danny Green. You knew it was coming. It's been coming early.
What, you see him lull there? They faked it to Jacques Robinson up through the middle. Now this ball should be caught by Danny Green. It's thrown up to his head, which is very difficult. Rockford stays with him. He doesn't have the speed that Danny Green does. That is a great play. I repeat, this is a tough catch for Green. Should have been made. Rockford keeps his eyes on the ball. Strength, he gets it. Touchback, Oklahoma ball.
The Sooners have been on the ropes. Had Washington connected it on this one, it might have been the knockout punch, but Jim Rockford delivers a big defensive play.
You can see the fake that Jacques Robinson pulls everybody up. But watch Rockford. Once that ball gets loose, good strength, and he's got it.
Now to live action. They go straight ahead. Steve Sewell, a halfback, takes the ball straight ahead. Jim Rockford from Springfield, Illinois.
I know where that...
Bob Trumpy.
I know exactly where that kid lives. Congratulations, Jim Rockford. How about that?
His dad's a coach, isn't he?
I coached my little brother at Springfield High School.
So Jim Rockford saved what might have been the finisher. Washington almost a 21-0 leader in the first quarter. Sooners go now their speed back. Spencer Tillman comes ahead, and he's got a first down for the Sooners. With a triple option play to work, Danny Bradley has to be flawless in his ball handling, running, and pitch back. Don James, nervous coming in, has to be pleased at this point. Huskies up 14-0.
When you wait for 4 weeks to play a football game, too, you just don't know how your players are going to play. In the first quarter, Oklahoma's somewhere else mentally. Wow.
Sooners getting back on the plus side now, though, as they go to the power run. Behind the left side, Brent Burks and Eric Pope. A couple of 275-pounders just blast away block. Ledbetter taking it up the middle for a first down. Or for a gain of about 4 yards, it'll bring second down and 4.
Well, one thing I think, Don, is that they've got to complete a pass here in short order, or Washington is going to have 11 guys within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Those backers are coming up closer all the time. Look at them in tight. Playing the run. Oklahoma with a rangy running back. Steve Sewell weaving his way, gets ahead. He's got an Oklahoma first down. Jim Rogers, the strong safety, coming down and making the hit again, but the Sooners start to run well now.
Let's watch Holmes here with that bad knee. It appears that he is favoring it. Under normal, healthy conditions, you don't get Ron Holmes to the ground that easily.
Sewell's also an excellent receiver. He can catch it deep. He's now run the ball 3 times for 17 yards. Handoff and a Ledbetter, an Okie from Muskogee, a big blocking fullback, getting the call a couple of times in this drive, takes it ahead on first down out to midfield.
Well, if you're Barry Switzer, you come into the ball game thinking that you got one of the best defenses in the history of Oklahoma, and they give up 14 points in the first quarter, and your offense through most of the season has struggled. He can't be very comfortable on the sideline.
He talked all week, as you know, Trump, about that 78 Orange Bowl in Arkansas, and it looked like it was going to happen again. Now, the Sooners are starting to blast open a lighter Washington defense.
One thing about Oklahoma, they'll keep running it right at you. That wishbone is always a threat to a break from above the offense. Watch the blocking, man on man. You see that lead block in there, which is one of the keys, one of the features of the wishbone. Jerome Ledbetter, number 20. Greg Sewell open for a good game.
Bring up third and just about a yard. First back through is Ledbetter. He might have gotten just enough as he takes the ball inside the 45-yard line of the Huskies.
Joe Kelly in on the stop for Washington.
Book all season long has been to beat the Sooners. It's unlikely he'll do it running the ball, but Washington has run the ball well and then set up the big throws, the biggest of all, the 29-yard touchdown pass opening score of the game to Danny Green.
A measurement here for the first down. Oklahoma now a little more in character offensively. Pounding that offensive line of scrimmage, kind of soften up Washington as best they possibly can.
Oklahoma comes into this game with a record of 9-1-1. They beat Nebraska when the Huskers were number 1 in the country. They beat Oklahoma State when the Cowboys were number 2 in the country. The lone loss was the one game they didn't have Danny Bradley. They were upset by Kansas, even though Kansas had only 7 first downs. And, of course, they tied at Texas, although in Norman, Oklahoma, they think that was a Sooner win. The call wasn't too good at the end.
What do you mean, think? They know it was a win.
First down yardage. The Sooners now settling down. It was a nervous start for them. Now they're starting to click off the snap and hit those big blocks as their power game starting to go. Tillman cuts upfield. Good defense by the Huskies. Go back down to the sidelines to Bill McAtee.
All right, Don, Lucius Selman just gave the defense a bit of a pep talk. As you might imagine, this was an awfully quiet place after the second Washington touchdown. He says they're sluggish, and they're going to start taking a few chances, like blitzing on first down. Back upstairs.
Right now, though, they have the ball, and maybe they'll take a chance going deep. One of the guys they go to at times deep is the tight end, the freshman, who's set to the left, Keith Jackson. Block, release, and go deep. He can run. Bradley looking deep. Fires. He's got a man, and the ball is dropped by Steve Sewell.
Right through his hand.
Here's the catch.
Intended for Steve.
Oklahoma has had problems this season with balls right on target thrown by Danny Bradley, just simply going through the receiver's hands. There's no excuse for this. You can see Sewell coming right across the... That's a ball that's catchable.
Short arm the ball.
Yes, he did. A tough catch because he had to turn around, but should have been caught. Washington is staying with that two-man defensive front under normal circumstances. Now they go with a three-man front because of a passing down.
Third and almost 10. Long ball again. Derek Shepard can't come down with the ball as he is leveled. J.C. Pearson, the right cornerback, connecting with him helmet high. Official right there rules it was clean, and that's the end of the first quarter. So it's been a 15-minute surprise so far as the underdog Huskies have been the dominant force in this 1985 Orange Bowl. They lead heavily favored Oklahoma 14-0.
You can see the respect that Oklahoma pays to Ron Holmes. First Brent Burks, 69, then Ledbetter, 20, and then Burks again. And Holmes looks healthy. Puts a lot of pressure on that knee. He does appear to be fine now.
Well, that's good to see a great player like that coming up for the draft, playing his final game, his biggest game. Only loss for Washington this year to the USC Trojans, who you saw on NBC Sports with that great Rose Bowl win today over Ohio State. Now the Sooners have to punt. Winchester kicks it downfield. Milas will fair catch the ball if he can. Shoot top catch, but he got it. And the Huskies go first and 10 from their 22-yard line. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy, Bill McAtee at the 1985 Orange Bowl. A very warm night in Miami. As you see how the Washington season ran down. It was in the 10th game that they fell for the first time, losing at the Coliseum to the Trojans.
Don, I like Don James's comment, too. He said, look, we didn't play badly against USC. USC played their best game of the season, so I have no complaint with my players.
Been the best record for Washington since 1925, 10-1. First and 10 Huskies. They lead early in the second quarter, 14-0. End up to Robinson. He's a weaver. Has the great ability to run inside and still make people miss. He's a very good runner at close range, and people are hitting at him. You'll see as the middle guard made the knockdown along with Paul Miliazzo, one of the linebackers.
Totally in favor of Washington. No yards passing, no completions. This is a multiple wishbone offense that Barry Switzer has talked about a great deal. Not worked so far.
Second down and 6 coming up now for the Huskies, and a marker goes down before the snap of the ball. You're talking, Trump, how they've been waiting so long to play this game. Finally, Washington coach Don James let him go live. Let him hit one day. He lost a linebacker.
Yeah. Well, that's always a problem. You never know. They're traveling 3 time zones from one side of the country to the other to play. You never know how your players are going to respond to the heat and humidity here, and of course the palm trees and the bikinis. And he finally just said, go get them. And it was probably good, even though they lost Krakowski, the linebacker. It was probably good. Got a lot of that nervous energy out of him.
Coach James back home in a sense. He's from Massillon, Ohio, but spent a lot of years here in Miami. He played for the Hurricanes as a quarterback, later coached high school football here, coached at Florida State. He's the head coach at Kent State and ultimately to Washington, where he's been 10 years as the head man. Cicero throwing long. He was going for Mark Pattison, overthrew him. Pattison is a disciple of Steve Largent of the Seahawks, has worked with him extensively. A good, quick pattern runner. Tried to get him deep that time. They're doubling up on Danny Green with reason.
Patterson kind of sneaks into the offense. So much attention is paid to Green because of his speed. In fact, Green is the leading receiver, but he's only averaged 13.5 yards per catch. Patterson over 21 yards.
Now third and long yardage as they align both wideouts to the lower portion of your screen, the left side. Cicero rolling out. Rose on the run. A good defensive play. And it is intercepted. They're going to Green, and the ball is taken away. Jim Rockford with his second of the night. Osworth tipped it. Rockford got it. And the Sooners now take over as maybe this game will turn on that play.
Don, Danny Green was open. Watch this. But when Cicero rolls out, see, there's no one around him. Green doesn't move. Then finally Bosworth catches up in coverage. And Rockford, another great interception. That one right on the grass. This is coming right at you. You'll see Rockford. Look at Bosworth, 44. Do you see Danny Green there? He doesn't keep moving. Now, either he's supposed to move or the quarterback's supposed to throw it behind it. Anyway, interception by Rockford, second of the night.
And to live action now as the Sooners go to the run. Jerome Ledbetter, the senior fullback, takes it straight ahead and gets it down to the 25-yard line. First down carry for big yards. He got 8 or 9. Tim Peoples, the free safety, finally knocked him down. 13:30 to play in the first half. The Huskies with a 14-point lead, now turning the ball over twice on great defensive plays by number 2 of the Sooners, Jim Rockford. Not big, 5'10", 180. Very quick. He's their best one-on-one cover, as we saw evidenced earlier. With a run, they're going to Ledbetter, calling the Okie from Muskoge's number twice in a row, and he delivers with first down yardage, down to the 17-yard line.
Well, maybe this will help Oklahoma. The ball in good field position where they don't have to drive 80 or 90 yards to score. Mack Brown, the offensive coordinator of Oklahoma, has kind of refined the wishbone to a certain extent, made it a little more of a multiple offense.
He said the tough thing about Washington, they make you go a long way with their kicking game, and usually there's a mistake by an offensive team in a long drive. Ledbetter gets it again. They like what he's doing behind the blocking of Chuck Thomas, the center. Give him that wedge. Little room. He's now gained 24 yards as Jerome Ledbetter in 4 carries. Talking to him in practice, said, my job is to block. I don't care if I get it or not. I'm here to hit people.
Well, as long as he keeps gaining yards up the middle, he's not going to be blocking much tonight. He's going to be carrying the load. There's James on the sideline.
Handling it all very well, as he always does. Now the Sooners send wideouts to either side. Actually, the tight end is flexed out wide right. Wishbone backfield. They go to Sewell. Very quick. He dances inside, and Sewell comes down inside the 5-yard line, and now the Sooners are challenging after a 12-yard run. Tim Peoples saved a touchdown.
In the first quarter, Washington was able to stop this play. Now watch what happens. The defensive linebacker, number 5 Small, jumps inside the block. Sewell quick enough to get outside. And the one thing I'd say about Oklahoma, they've got speed. And if you give them 2 strides to get underway, they are gone.
That's what the coaches were saying. No matter how much you look at it on film or talk to people, you don't really experience it till you're in there and see how fast they are. This time, the Huskies slow down Ledbetter.
Jim Rogers on the stop, along with number 59.
The collisions become more intense when it's a goal line offense and a goal line defense, and when we break the huddle and snap the ball the next time, we're going to hear it right from the side of the field.
It gets ugly down there. That's the only way to describe it.
Washington, 3rd best in the country at keeping other teams out of the end zone, allowing less than 12 points a game, as you saw. 11:15 to play in the first half. There's a collision. David Rill, a freshman linebacker, jumps in and makes the hit. So the Sooners are stopped again. Now they'll go 3rd and goal.
It'll be 3rd down and goal at the
Rill was the man called on to go in for Joe Krakowski, who injured a knee in a practice.
Talking to some of the Washington defensive coaches, I said, why do you go with that 2-5 defense? And he said, our best athletes are our linebackers, and we got a bunch of them. So we're attempting to get our best athletes and the biggest number of them on the field at the same time.
This might be the rollout wishbone. from trouble. Heading for the end zone. Diving, and Danny Bradley with a full gainer. Didn't get in.
What an effort, though.
I tell you, he's not tall, but he can go high.
He gets decent protection. This is 59 Hadley who flushes him out of the pocket. Now watch Danny Bradley. You want to see effort? This is the Big 8 Offensive Player of the Year.
Close. Well, the Sooners have to do it, trailing 14-0. 4th down and goal from a foot away, and Bradley takes it in for an Oklahoma touchdown. Gun to go off. Oklahoma usually shoots that off a lot because they get in the end zone a lot. Bradley with minus 11 yards on 6 carries because he's been thrown for losses, but now on a 4th and goal, in they go.
Second quarter seems to be the Sooners' quarter. They've scored a third of their points, total points, in the second quarter this season.
Kim Lasher gets an extra point up and good. 9:47 to play in the first half. At the 1985 Orange Bowl, and the favored Sooners finally get a big defensive play, subsequently turn it into this touchdown by Danny Bradley. And it's a 14-7 game. We'll be back in a moment. Danny Bradley, the engine in the Sooner offense, finally gets Oklahoma in the end zone as he takes it in from a yard out. Let's watch again an earlier play by Bradley as he almost got there. That was the 3rd down run over the top.
Jim Rogers makes the hit. He looked like Greg Louganis there, didn't he?
We're at the 1985 Orange Bowl game in Miami as the Sooners kick it off. David Trimble sprinting back with the ball for Washington, gets out to the 25-yard line. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy, Bill McAtea. 9:41 left to play in the first half. The Washington Huskies taking a surprise 14-0 first quarter lead. They are meeting the Oklahoma Sooners for the first time. Ron Holmes, a key player for Washington, a consensus All-American, went down with a knee injury. Looked like he was in trouble, but came back to force a fumble, which the Huskies subsequently turned into a touchdown. Now Oklahoma's come back. Their offense is starting to roll. The Orange Bowl. So many great football games, college and pro, have been played here. Another great one coming up Sunday on NBC Sports, the American Conference Championship game. The Dolphins tee off against the Steelers. Right now, we're looking at Washington on offense, 1st and 10, leading 14-7. And the Sooners come alive on defense. Fenny, the fullback, at the ball. Casillas and Flemings grabbed him and knocked him down. No gain.
Casillas won that matchup with Ernest. Ran right behind the block and was there to make the tackle. Watch once again. Now, Casillas is about 290. Ernest is about 240. You can see Casillas is there entirely too quickly, yeah.
Ask Big Tony how he goes against those double and triple team blocks. He says the key is pump those legs. Can't get them off your feet. And then you got to have that determination because it gets awful tough in the 4th quarter, particularly in the heat. Now they go 2nd and 10, and Casillas gets his man, but just after he released the ball, Cicero gets the ball to Jacques Robinson, who gets ahead for some yards, but far from a first down. That time they singled him, and he beat Ernest.
Bosworth and Hall on the tackle, and Ernest's got to do a better job on Casillas here. Realize, too, that when Casillas this year was named All-American, it was the 39th consecutive year that an Oklahoma player had been given an All-American honor. You see that the hand technique by Casillas is tremendous with those legs pumping, great upper body strength.
They list him at 270. He's got to be 290 or more.
Yeah.
He can run. Big Tony, a wrecking ball in the middle is Cicero. Throws downfield. Boy, the Sooners had a play on that one. Cicero throwing it too long, and coming up on the ball was Sonny Brown. But the Oklahoma defense holds, and now the Sooners get it back.
All right, now a little more in character for Oklahoma. They've relied all season on this defense to stop opponents. There've only been 4 teams that have scored 14 or more points against Oklahoma in a game. Already, Washington has scored 14.
First punt was good for 49 yards, but you remember Buster Rhymes returned it for Oklahoma, 38 yards. Leland hits it again, end over end, and hits it deep. Buster on the run from the 26.
Oh.
To the 35, and Oklahoma goes on offense there.
Donnie had an alley there. If he had kept his feet, he'd still been running.
So with 8:08 to play in the first half, the Sooners who scored the last time they had the ball send out the offense, keyed around quarterback Danny Bradley. Sooners started slow, but they've begun rolling like thunder. Washington Huskies started this one with a couple of early knockout punches. Now the Sooners have started to come back. They trail 14-7. Oklahoma has the ball.
Now, Don, I make this comment that the Wishbone offense is an offense of precision. And it doesn't really look like the Wishbone offense is really functioning right. They're just little glitches in it to this point. But they are getting better.
Let's see now. Bradley keeps on the straight. Pitch back goes, and a great defensive effort as Washington strings out the run and slams it down. Sewell ran the ball, but nowhere.
Well, defense. Perfectly. Run it to the sideline. Let the sidelines be your friend. Joe Kelly was there to make the tackle. Look at the difference in total yards.
3-1.
Very unexpected. That's the first time they've run all three aspects of the Wishbone and strung it out beautifully.
Sooners break the huddle now with a second down and over 10 play. A slight loss on that last one with 7:32 to play in the first half. Again, they try on a counter play to Sewell, and this time he's shut down again.
Alvord made the stop.
Washington smaller in the defensive front. Steve Alvord, 93, the middle guard, though, shed the block, made the hit. And now Danny Bradley might be pumping it.
Well, if they take away that initial option, which is the dive, and string the Wishbone out to the sideline, there's nothing left to do but to throw it.
Barry Switzer said, even when things are going good, you always realize as a coach, humility's only a week away. Sooners got off to a tough start, down 14-0 now. Bradley on third down, fires deep. His man was running an out pattern, Buster Rhymes, and some coach isn't going to like that. He fell down all right, but he fell out running an out pattern when it was a deep throw.
Yeah, the strange thing is, too, Oklahoma had one receiver, Buster Rhymes, and he was the only guy down the field. No one else ran a pattern. You can see the coverage isn't taking off a lot. Bestie Jackson there. Rhymes falls down, and hey, if Oklahoma only runs one guy in the pattern, that's going to be easy to defend.
Good punt now by Winchester downfield. Von Miles comes back with it for Washington. Out of crimson and white there to make the knockdown at the 30-yard line. 44-yard punt and an 8-yard return by the Husky. So Washington goes back on offense. First and 10.
Number 46, Casper on the tackle.
The 1984 Orange Bowl was supposed to be a showcase for Nebraska's Heisman Trophy winner Mike Rozier. Instead, he was shut down by the Miami defense, and the Hurricanes freshman quarterback Bernie Kosar led the offense to a hometown win and a national championship. And of course, earlier today on NBC Sports, you may have seen Bernie Kosar and the Hurricanes in another thrilling bowl game, the Fiesta Bowl from Tempe, Arizona. And in that one, UCLA prevailed 39-37. Pitch back. First down, Jack Robinson breaks it, and he's ahead for a first down crossing the 40. Sooners felt if they could stop Jack Robinson, they would totally shut down the Washington running game because there's no other speed in the backfield. Jack Robinson's been ripping it up.
Great hitting by both teams here. Robinson turned right inside that block by Feeney. Excellent job. And the tackle by Sonny Brown gets him to the ground.
6:15 to play, first half.
41-yard line.
Robinson dancing, nothing there. Good defensive play. Making the stop was Troy Johnson, an outside end. Call them an end, they're really linebackers in the Oklahoma set.
Well, the Washington Huskies are doing an interesting thing. They're bringing a tight end in motion, and basically what they're ending up with is an unbalanced line to the side the motion comes. And they've had good success running that. It puts the Oklahoma defense out of balance.
Now we'll see what Washington goes to. Have a double wide receiver set to the right. One of them comes in motion, Danny Green, a sprinter. Counter play, and Jack Robinson takes it right up the middle as again the trap blocking in the offensive front of Washington blasts apart the Oklahoma defensive front.
And they've run that play twice. Taking advantage of the activity of Tony Casillas when he charges across that line. 13 yards on this carry. There you see the trap once again. The tackle right on him. It was Dennis Maher. Easy 13 yards for Washington.
So Jack Robinson's getting his yards and Washington's controlling the ball, leading 14-7 in the second quarter. Cicero with a rollout throw. Open. He's got his man, Danny Green, who was in the end zone early in the game for the first touchdown, an 18-yard gain, and the Huskies start to challenge again.
The thing that made this play, Cicero did an excellent job of looking off Jim Rockford. Now, Green doesn't run a great pattern here, but Rockford underneath, and he see the look off there, see what it does to Rockford? It takes him away from where the receiver is. An easy reception. Green now 3 catches, 68 yards, and a touchdown.
Close in look. Our producer tonight for NBC Sports is George Finkel. Our director, John Gonzalez. Michael Weissman, executive producer of NBC Sports, also with us as the Huskers leading 14-7 go to the run. And Jack Robinson slanting across comes inside the 30 down to about the 28-yard line. Mike Mantle was on the stop. That was actually Cookie Jackson in for his first carry of the night.
There we go. So much for that leading the nation in rushing defense. That's got to be very disturbing to not only the coaches, but certainly the players, because they had a great deal of pride in that stat.
That Mike Mantle, who made the play and went out, is Mickey's nephew. Now let's listen to the sounds of Orange Bowl football. Soft sound with a well-thrown ball to Mark Pattison.
No, out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Robinson already has 72 yards rushing, Don.
And really his offensive line's giving him some big tracks up the middle.
Remember in college football that all you need is 1 foot in bounds. Generally, Pattison, well, he had his foot on the line. Good call by the official. 3rd down and 9.
Oklahoma has been somewhat vulnerable to the deep throw. We saw that already tonight, and they're overloading the left side.
I was going to say, watch for the sprint draw here, but they fake it.
Bang. The big D from Darrell Reed. Left end, a freshman from Cypress, Texas.
The play action fake takes an awful lot of time, and of course they're faking to the left, now to the blind side. Cicero never sees him. It's around the offensive tackle, Kevin
Gogan. That takes some doing. Kevin weighs 290. Darrell Reed, 3rd QB sack. 3:38 to play. First half, it's a 14-7 game. Washington is in the lead and has to punt the ball. Lonzel Hill is down there. Ball goes into the end zone and the marker goes down. Lonzel Hill, the genetics are right for him to be a great football player. His dad, J.D. Hill, a former #1 draft choice out of Arizona State, played some great ball in the NFL with Buffalo.
We've got a penalty on Washington. Oh, I guess they're just taking an official's timeout.
That's all. No penalty, no signal. 3:24 to play first half. The Sooners looking to get back. Lighting up the night. The Goodyear blimp high above the Orange Bowl. A warm, humid evening. Going to wear people down by the 4th quarter. If not already, Sewell runs the ball, and Elvord, the middle guard, hits him, getting the block again. Elvord playing some strong defense for the Huskies in the middle.
3-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 7 at the 20.
Barry Switzer came into this game with the best winning percentage of any active coach in American college football in the game for 5 years. 84% wins, but he was told outright by the Board of Regents he was gone unless this was a big year, and it's been. Now Bradley keeps it himself, and Danny Bradley rips it across the 30-yard line out to the 32. Meamber finally knocked him down.
Second phase of the wishbone. They'll keep running it. And with the speed of this offense, you've got the defense every single time. It's always a threat, even though in the first quarter they didn't run the ball particularly well. Don, I still say Oklahoma's got to throw the ball here. Danny Bradley's 0 for 5. They have no yards passing whatsoever.
7 carries for -2, but there was those big losses early. He's gained some important yards since, including a touchdown run, and now on a 1st and 10 play, Danny Bradley goes ahead of Spencer Tillman, gets the ball to the 35-yard line. As you see the first half winding down. Tony Lewis
Deamber on the tackle.
made the knockdown.
Tillman, ball carry on that last play.
Washington's defense, Trump, will be laying way off here. They know that pretty soon Bradley's going to gun it long. Wishbone. Here goes Bradley, deep set. Lost the football. It's free. Small has it for Washington. Brett Small, like the first man there.
They don't know whether to count that as a pass attempt or, yes, they're counting it as a pass attempt and not a fumble. Said his arm was going forward. That's the 4th fumble that Oklahoma's had this evening.
No, it's an incomplete pass, actually.
Fumble recovered by number 59, David.
Calling it a fumble recovered by Oklahoma. Let's watch.
Watch what happens. He just
lost the handle.
Yeah, it just snapped right out of his hand.
Brett Small made it.
Well, that's a big recovery by Dillingham.
Dillingham must have got it. So it's the 4th fumble of the game for the Sooners of Oklahoma. Have lost but 1. And Washington, at least for the moment, has lost one of the better players. Outside linebacker Fred Small. Dillingham got the ball and got Small going for it with 1:46 to play in the first half. Coming up right here in the Orange Bowl on Sunday, NBC Sports joins the Dolphins and the Steelers for all the excitement of the AFC Championship game. They've had some great playoff matchups over the years. Recently in the cold of Gray River Stadium. They'll be in the heat of Miami Sunday. The Dolphins will be favored. That doesn't bother the Steelers. And a fantastic halftime show, as always, coming up here at the Orange Bowl. Right now, Danny Bradley looks. Nobody open. Running for the sidelines and bails out at the 30. Didn't get much, but he did stop the clock.
Joe Kelly on the tackle. Don, I thought that was a design play. Absolutely a design play. They tried to get Danny Bradley through the defensive line of scrimmage. They had all the receivers spread out across the field and try to get him loose in there in the defense. Didn't work. Well defensed by Washington.
Barry Switzer calling it high power, high risk, and the Sooners have had some trouble handling the ball tonight. Now they have to punt it again. 1:19 to play in the first half. Big rush. Washington's blocked 5 kicks this year. Milas signals for and makes a fair catch at the 46, and they've now got 71 seconds to do something. Penalty marker down also.
Great field position once again for the Huskies.
So the punt was only 25 yards. The 1985 Orange Bowl, and again it presents the premier matchup of all the college bowl games. Number 2, Oklahoma on defense. Number 3, Washington with the ball in a 14-7 lead. Cicero, the Huskies quarterback, run down by Darrell Reed, a redshirt freshman who's starting to make some big plays.
First sack of the night, Oklahoma. Washington takes time out. It started to rain a little bit, just drizzling ever so slightly here in the Orange Bowl. Hard to pick up, but it's a refreshing drizzle.
They've had great weather here. 3 weeks without rain. Now Cicero comes to the sideline with 1:03 to play. Washington, after the penalty against Oklahoma prior to that play, gets the ball across the midfield stripe. Both these teams with accurate young field goal kickers, but not from long range. Inside the 40-yard line, they're very good.
I want to go back to that last series by the Oklahoma Sooners. Very unimpressive. 3 plays and out. They didn't throw a pass. They have not completed a pass in the first half. Very discouraging for Oklahoma Sooner fans. Bradley has been very accurate so far this season. Had a couple of bounced off receivers in this first half, but you just can't function with just running the triple option, because eventually they're going to have 15 guys at the line of scrimmage trying to stop you.
I think one of the interesting things, Trump, is the way they let Casillas, the great middle guard, come busting through, then bang, they blindside him. The trap block, and they've gotten some big yards, particularly with the tailback Robinson running straight ahead. Second down and almost 12. Cicero to Patterson. He can't get to the ball. Good coverage by the Sooners. Brings up 3rd down and 12 with 58 seconds to play in the half.
Well, neither team has looked very impressive in the last 2 minutes. That time you may have caught out of the corner of the screen It appeared that Oklahoma was trying to run a tackle-tackle game. Casillas and the other tackle going one in front, one behind to get to the quarterback. They ran into each other.
So it brings up 3rd down and long as Cicero, who's thrown deep well, particularly early in the game when he burned the Sooners, get him for a 29-yard touchdown throw to Danny Green. Green in motion back to the line of scrimmage, running the deep pattern now, but they go to the run, and Jock Robinson breaks it for the moment and gets inside the 45-yard line. Still 50 seconds to play, clock running. Rockford knocked him down.
Oklahoma now with 5 defensive backs, a 4-man defensive front, and just 2 linebackers.
Washington, a well-schooled football team referred to as a counterpuncher. They'll take away the thrust of the knockout punchers with excellent coaching, preparation, a defense that's always in position. Tonight they've executed a lot of plays, a lot of big ones, and now 4th down comes up. Long field goal attempt, at least they're setting up for that. 61-yard attempt where they have the ball. Not going to even get close to the end zone. Well, it did that, but it was 10 yards short of being anywhere near where it had to be, and so desperation trying 4th down gets nothing, but Washington's had a big first half. Looks like they're going to go to the locker room with some winnings.
Don Jager's longest field goal made in the 1984 season was a 47-yarder, so that was really out of his range.
So the Sooners now have some time to work, at least for one long play. 8 seconds on the clock. And they'll have the ball at the 44-yard line of Oklahoma. Sooners ranked number 2 in the nation in both polls, AP and UPI. Charlie Brown is the theme of tonight's Orange Bowl halftime show. And it's another spectacular, as right now we're probably going to see a concluding spectacular long ball throw by the Sooners, but Danny Bradley sees everybody backed off.
Did you see what happened there? I mean, this is the end of the first half.
Oklahoma flags are down.
There were people coming on the field late. I mean, that's really hard to understand. Already Ford Tillman was out there late, and because of that, Oklahoma had to take a timeout.
Okay.
Barry Switzer's offense and their team is just not with it. They're playing like that dog looks.
Husky fans came here to get sunshine. He'd love to be in Nome. First and 15. Bradley wings one up the middle, and look at this. It could go the distance. Derek Shepard is going into the end zone. "56 yards on the final play of the first half. So we're going to go to the locker room if the extra point is good, tied.
Danny Bradley now 1 of 6. This is the completion. Look at the speed of this kid. Both players. Peoples certainly has a shot at him. Nobody on the Washington Huskies will catch him. 56 yards. Danny Bradley's first completion of the first half. What'd you say? Big play, big risk?
Well, high octane, high risk. That time it was a payoff, and for Oklahoma. Now Tim Lasher will try the point after to tie the game, and he gets it. Wow. So the Huskies struck early with 14 first-quarter points. Now the Sooners rally back, concluding the first half with this unbelievable 56-yard touchdown play.
Now, throughout the first half, Oklahoma has played very lethargic. They have the option at the beginning of the second half, Don, to take the ball. That should certainly add a little incentive to their performance.
Tied at the half, 14 all. Standoff at halftime, Washington 14, Oklahoma 14, as we take a look now at the breakdown of the first half numbers.
The 2 turnovers by Washington, both interceptions by Jim Rockford. The thing that impresses me the most is Oklahoma's passing yards came on 1 play, and the rushing yards has just not been there. The option, the dive, has gotten them 45 yards to keep 11, and the pitch just 4 yards. Oklahoma has not played well. That's the bad news. The good news is score tied 14-14.
And of course that one completion with a big gainer by Oklahoma, good for 6 points and then a 7th on the extra point.
Oklahoma will take the ball. They deferred their choice to the second half, which is one of the options available in college football. So Don James has got to be happy with the performance of his team. They've virtually shut down the Wishbone. They're not used to giving up big plays like they did in the first half. But overall, Washington has played respectable football.
Washington's played respectable?
Yes.
I think far better than that. They had the one breakdown there, Trump, with the 56-yard pass. I think they've been outstanding against a favored team.
Okay, well, I'll give them the first quarter. You got to give the second quarter to Oklahoma. So I go back to the respectable. Oklahoma has not played well offensively or defensively throughout the first half.
Washington's had a little bit to do with it, too.
Oh, yeah, no question about that. But your point that forget the national championship, we're talking about winning this football game is the point to make as we start this second half.
Jock Robinson, who's outrushed the average opponent of Oklahoma in this game in the first half. Sooners #1 in the country against the run, as we pointed out, 68.9 yards. Jock getting 6.6 a pop, too. So he's been ripping it up. His offensive blocking has been excellent. The whole design of the attack against Oklahoma's defense has been very effective. Now we start the third quarter dead even as Jaeger kicks off the ball for Washington. Buster Rhymes, who ran it back well in the first half, will have to down this one for a touchback. The Sooners come out to their 21st and 10. Let's take a look at the offensive unit of the Oklahoma Sooners, led by quarterback Danny Bradley, the man who makes it go. His arcane moves with the ball, his deception, his quickness, the absolute key to making the Wishbone masterpiece, and it is one of those, a football masterpiece when it works, go, the Big 8 Offensive Player of the Year. Danny's not big at 5'9", 180 pounds, but he is it. Without him, this offense just doesn't go. Without him in the one game this year against a heavily underdog Kansas team, Oklahoma was beaten. Turned it over 5 times. First play from scrimmage, and the Sooners go to the run behind the right side. Pickett and Dillingham, the center Chuck Thomas. Lydell Carr, the fullback, straight ahead. Got it out for about a 5-yard gain before Ron Holmes knocked him down.
First half, first series of downs for Oklahoma. Ron Holmes was hurt. Came back, played a marvelous first half. They're still going with that 2-5 defense. You can see the linebackers there just trying to take on people, and Holmes, whoa, that's a handful of people.
2nd and 5. The fake, the lost ball, football on the field. Let's see who gets it. Looks like Danny Bradley did. Problem of the Wishbone. Football's on the field, although Oklahoma's cut down mistakes a lot this year.
Well, Don, let me make this point, too. This is a dream come true for Danny Bradley. He is playing in the Orange Bowl for Oklahoma and Barry Switzer. And at times, as a player, you try to play over your head. Now, Danny's just made some dumb mistakes. That's the 5th Oklahoma fumble. They've only lost 1, but they put it on the ground 5 times.
Tough football to handle. A hot, humid night now. Bradley holds down. He holds it like a loaf of bread. He sure doesn't put 2 arms around it. I guess you can't when you're looking to pitch back. A lot of dare in that offense. Bradley loves the challenge, and on that time, after the misfire of the previous play, he gets ahead for a Sooner first down.
Joe Kelly on the tackle, and this young man is a proud individual. He wants to really perform and perform very, very well, but now got 11 carries for exactly 0 yards.
Danny Bradley. 1st and 10 Sooners in this tie game early in the third quarter. First back through is the fullback, 195-pound Lydell Carr. The Sooners with an array of great runners. Any of them can break at the distance. The 2 QBs for Washington. Snickero's gone the distance, number 14. Hugh Millen on the left. Started the first 8 games of the year. Stronger arm quarterback, and they're not at all hesitant to make a switch if need be, but Sicero did get them in the end zone.
And Millen throws it very well. Big, tall kid throws it very well, but Sicero, more charisma, I suppose. Whoops, there's a movement on Oklahoma. Now, see, the coach is standing on the sideline. Barry Switzer's got to be saying, wait a minute. This guy's a 5th-year senior. He's an experienced offensive lineman. Why are we having these dumb things happen to us here?
Dead ball, false start, offense.
Coach Switzer has seen it before, and he's also seen the big play before. The Sooners showing their stuff on the concluding play of the first half when they went on a slant pattern to Derek Shepard for 56 yards and a touchdown to tie the game. Straight wishbone, 1 wide out, Rhymes at the top. Now they go into a power wing. Bradley defensed and thrown down by the aforementioned Fred Small.
They have done an excellent job all night long of stopping the wishbone. Now, see, this is a defense of position, not penetration. See Small? He's anchored right there at the line. And then once the fullback, Lydell Carr, went by him, then he penetrated. Because Lydell Carr, had he gotten the ball, Fred Small makes the tackle. Excellent, excellent job of coaching and execution by Washington.
Fred Small just can't hold back. He can't wait to play. He was hitting people in dummy drills during the week. All Pac-10 linebacker. 3rd and 12. There's another pitch down the middle, and it almost intercepted. They were looking again to Derek Shepard, the exact same play that went for 56 and a touch at the end of the first half. This time, the ball was almost in the hands of Tim Peoples.
Good underneath coverage by Peoples there. Excellent underneath coverage. If they'd have had that in the first half, watch Peoples. You see him sliding at the top of the screen right there, and still there's only one receiver out in the pattern for Oklahoma.
Ron Milas back deep. Winchester to punt for the Sooners. Big rush. They almost got there. Milas was impeded with, no flag. He did come up and make a fair catch, but as Sooner was right in front of him, he had to run around him. The punt, though, into the wind coming out of the east and off the Atlantic, just 30 yards. So the Huskies get their first crack at it in the second half when we come back.
Today's game is brought to you by Bud Light, the less filling light beer with the first name in taste. By Mr. Good Ranch and General Motors Parts. By Hilton. When American business hits the road, American business stops at Hilton, America's business address. And by Wheaties. Crispy, crunchy, tasty wheat. Wheaties, what the big boys eat.
Big boys lined up and ready to go. 1st and 10. Washington with the ball. Tied game, 3rd quarter. 1985 Orange Bowl. Handoff goes to Jacques Robinson. He tips up right where he left off in the first half with a good run, weaving, and finally knocked down by Tony Rayburn.
Now let's go back to the Oklahoma punt. Throughout this football game, they've had problems. Now watch Peoples, 26, untouched. I don't know how he misses this one, but he does. Winchester gets the ball off. And now Washington, in their previous 5 possessions, interception, interception, punt, missed 61-yard field goal. A big offensive series here.
2nd down and 4. Robinson once again, and he rips it ahead inside the 45-yard line. And Jacques Robinson, 1st down. He's about to do the unspeakable against the Oklahoma defense. Rush for 100 yards. He's close to 100 now, early in the 3rd quarter.
Last 4 games of the regular season, Robinson got 100 yards. Certainly working on his 5th. Feeney with an excellent lead block up front, number 30. They're just blowing Oklahoma off the line of scrimmage now. 14 carries, 95 yards.
95 for Jacques, and it's 1st and 10 now for Washington. Roten, the tight end, in motion, leads the blocking. Look at Robinson just weave his way, pick himself through defenders. We talked earlier about Robinson's ability to make people miss at close range, and he demonstrates that as he again runs up the middle for more good yardage.
That should put him over 100 yards. It does, but let's give credit up front to the fat guys. They are doing an excellent job. Ernest, that's our key matchup against Casillas, Robertson, Burnham, Dugan. Maher doing a great job against a sterling defensive line.
2nd down now. Short yardage for the Huskies. Game is tied 14-14. So a little different look at the OU defense and go right back to the money. Jacques Robinson breaks it. Foot race. Angle. They get him. Rayburn knocked him out at the 10. But now the Huskies are challenging close down again as Robinson just broke it for 24 yards.
Did you notice how many Oklahoma players, right at the point where Robinson breaks through the punch, are on the ground? Now watch this. Simple motion by Roten. Finney, an excellent lead block. He's chasing. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on the ground. And nobody really gets to Jacques Robinson. 24-yard gain.
Rick Finney, an unheralded fullback, but he's made a lot of big blocks, and he's been the key to Robinson breaking some long ones. Jacques Robinson with 128 yards rushing early in the 3rd quarter against the #1 rushing defense in America. Cookie Jackson gets the call, takes a full stick as Jackson is leveled at about the 8-yard line.
Oklahoma defensive players got to be saying, wait a minute, what is going on here? We didn't expect this. We didn't see this in the films. But this is the top scoring team in the Pac-10 this year.
That's right. All those turnovers, they turned into points. Huskies come in averaging almost 30 points a game, 29-5. The hitting level picks up down close. Let's listen. He's putting up air balls, more looking for the hit. There's a pop at the 17-yard line. Jock Robinson behind the line of scrimmage is hit by inside linebacker Dante Jones, and Mike Mantle was also on the play. He doesn't use a bat like Uncle Mickey, but he can hit. Only a sophomore.
I don't think Uncle Mickey will line up in front of him, though. When he wants to sit down for dinner, I'm sure Mick gives him a seat. Strange call. They run the ball so well, then suddenly come with a little flare pass out to the flat.
3rd and goal. Cicero looping it in, and it is intercepted. The Sooners get the ball. Sonny Brown, sophomore safety from Alice, Texas. Looking to Roten, and Sonny Brown comes up with the 3rd Oklahoma interception.
Now that ball is thrown into coverage to Danny Green, the intended receiver. You see Rockford underneath. It's that double rotation zone. Watch, this ball should not have been thrown.
Now the threat is stopped, and the Sooners have it when we come back.
Hey, you already have 2 with 3 on. You're on, babe. You're on. Sonny, you're on. You're on. How you doing, Norman? I'm on. Alice. Everybody back on, Alice. He took that.
All right, Sonny Brown. A big play for Sonny. He stopped perhaps a Washington touchdown. Now the Sooners have to move it out from their own end. And Washington's not about to let that happen. David Rill, the freshman linebacker, shot the gap and made the knockdown on Lydell Carr.
Don Washington able to penetrate that Oklahoma offensive line of scrimmage all evening long, which is the key to breaking up the wishbone, getting there to the exchange point and not allowing the wishbone to start.
That's the key term, the exchange point. Where Bradley gives it up. The Huskies felt that's where they had to make the connection with Bradley. They don't this time. Pitch back. Here comes speed as Patrick Collins. Back home in Miami, Florida. Not big, 170 pounds, but a state sprinter.
All right, here you see the wishbone. First option, dive. Bradley keeps it. Second option is the keep. You see the linebackers there, then the pitch. That is the longest run from scrimmage for the option tonight, Don.
Barry Switzer says you've got to run these plays 1,000 times to get them right. Players say, why do we have to do 1,000 times? Because he said 999 is not enough when this much precision's involved. A last-second pitch by Bradley got the yardage. It's 3rd and 2 now. Bradley. First down, Sooners.
5-yard gain.
This is how it began. First quarter score, Cicero to Danny Green, 29 yards to a wide-open Green touchdown. Then Washington got another, Robinson in from a yard out. And the surprise, a real shocker early, Washington 14, Oklahoma nothing. Then the Sooners came back, turned an interception into a subsequent touchdown, Oklahoma scoring on Shepard. And then they tied the game on Shepard's 56-yard catch to conclude the first half. Bradley getting the first touchdown on a keep. Now they go on first down to Lydell Carr. Dan Ernestey, who was voted a College Football Hall of Fame scholar athlete, honored in New York last December. Some help from the oxygen.
Matched up against Casillas. I don't blame him for looking for that air somewhere.
24-yard line.
Oh, yeah, he's played admirably against the best nose guard in the country.
Yes, he has.
Sometimes they let Casillas come ripping through and they blast him on a blindside block, a trap block. 2nd and 6. Bradley sees something he doesn't like, so he calls a timeout.
Yeah. Washington all evening long has disguised their defense very well. Bradley there making a good choice. Go to the sideline, regroup, try to come up with a big play.
So often big games like this turn on mistakes, and I think they're both waiting for him to see something like that happen in the second half to force it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Oklahoma right now leads an excellent drive to take some of the emotion away from Washington. They get the ball to start the second half, and driving it right down the field. The interception, of course, stopped the drive, but Oklahoma's not stopped Washington tonight.
2nd down and 7 now for the Sooners. Throw and a catch out to the 35-yard line. It's a first down as Derek Shepard, the sophomore, makes another big play for the Sooners with 6:12 to go in the 3rd quarter.
11 yards on the catch, and now Shepard's got the respect of those Washington defensive backs. They're laying off quite a few yards. And Shepard runs it out. Good play fake by Danny Bradley. Nice completion.
And when they didn't lay off them, that was the last play of the 2nd quarter. He broke a slant for a 56-yard touchdown to tie the game. It's still tied 14-14. Wydell Carr, the first back through, rips it straight ahead. He's got another Sooner first down as we want to wish a very happy 35th anniversary to NBC affiliate KPRC Television in Houston, Texas. A long-time ally and a great station. KPRC TV, 35 years with NBC. 5:55 to play now in the 3rd quarter as the Sooners set up at their 49. Gets back. Boy, that is dangerous. And free ball. Jimmy Rogers comes up with the ball for Washington. High risk, high power.
6th fumble by Oklahoma. 2nd loss. And Washington has made a living all year long with these turnovers. You see the hit by number 30 Jim Rogers. Washington has it again.
They'll go on 1st and 10 when we come back. Jim Rogers, number 39 from Aloha, Oregon, just came up with the free ball. Don James says we're going to be looking for footballs on the field, and the Huskies just found one. 1st and 10 now. Game still tied. 3rd quarter, 14-14. Jock Robinson, they got a lot of red-shirted guys looking at his number. He didn't get much on first down. Now we have a moment. Let's go to Bill McAtee on the sideline. Bill?
All right, Don, Oklahoma feels like they have to be able to get outside. They made an adjustment at halftime. The key man to block is a linebacker, number 36, Joe Kelly, who lines up on the split inside. In the first half, the lead blocker would read Kelly. Kelly was taking a step that told everybody he was out of the play. Well, Kelly would then come up after the lead blocker went after somebody else and make the play. So Kelly is the key. Back upstairs.
All right, Bill, we'll accept that. As Cicero gets ready, pitches it back to Robinson. Gets complicated, this big-time football, and there's nothing complicated about that. As Jock Robinson gets piled. They're going to start to play fake to him, Trump, and go deep in a minute.
Sonny Brown on the tackle, and all night long we've featured Mr. Casillas, Tony Casillas. We'll watch him on Earnesty once again. This is our key matchup. Earnesty has done a great job of at least getting Casillas to slow down, but once that guy gets going, boy, he's a raging bull. Robinson now 18 carries, 131 yards.
A human wrecking ball, Tony Casillas. They've done a good job for the most part against him.
Whoops, whoops, whoops.
Penalty marker down. Cicero throwing on the run. Ball is caught. Roten, the tight end, got it for 11 yards, but illegal motion against the Huskies, so it comes back. And we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
You're watching KING TV, Channel 5, Seattle.
Look. Now you see all kinds of hats. The hog hats are a great standout from Arkansas. The Husky hats from Washington.
I wonder if she bought that in Miami or brought that from Seattle.
Not too many fur hats for sale in Miami.
You got that right.
Motion on the offense, 2 men in the backfield moving at the same time.
Well, an illustration of good coaching. That is only Washington's second penalty of the game. We're down to 4:13 to play. Third quarter, the clock starts up again. The Huskies ready to go 3rd and 12. Green coming off the left flank. Running a deep pattern. Cicero lets her rip.
Nobody there.
No, he had looked like Mark Patterson was open deep. At least that Mark's going to tell him that when he comes back. But they won't get another chance at it. It's 4th down. They're going to punt the ball.
Thane Cleveland kick for Washington.
Thane Cleveland into punt. A sophomore. And back to return it is Sonny Brown, one of those veteran safeties who've played so well for the Sooners. High kick. It's going to pin Brown back inside the 20-yard line. It'll be angled out of bounds at the 11. The sophomore Thane Cleveland does a good job punting the ball for the Huskies. A 32-yarder, but well placed at the 11-yard line. Sooners get the ball in this tie game, but again they start deep in their own end. A long way to go.
Bud Wilkinson's Oklahoma team was the most dominant football team of the 50s. The Sooners won 13 conference titles, 3 national championships, and 4 of 5 Orange Bowls played during his reign.
Coach Wilkinson, the man responsible for bringing Sooner football to national attention. He had those great teams. Sometimes they'd run off 5 and 6 plays without a huddle, and it wasn't a 2-minute drill. Precision was the name of the game. And it is right now with this Oklahoma team. They have to be precise on the quick handoff. This time a straight-ahead power play. Lydell Carr didn't get much on 1st down, got some. UCLA came back to beat Miami today on NBC Sports at the Fiesta Bowl. Boston College was away ahead, then was challenged and finally pulled away to beat Houston. And then the Southern California Trojans, standing tall for the Pac-10 at the Rose Bowl, held on to beat Ohio State. In the Sugar Bowl, Nebraska having little trouble, it would appear, with the Tigers of LSU. 2nd down coming up now for Oklahoma. Still a tie game. They're not going to give Derek Shepard that slant anymore. If they give it to him, they're going to give him a couple of pops with it. That time Peoples got him. That was the play that went for 56 and a touchdown.
Don Shepard's the only Oklahoma receiver to catch the ball tonight. That's it. They have not spread it around at all. Bradley now 2 of 9, 69 yards and a touchdown. 56 of the 69 yards on that one completion to Shepard.
3rd down and 6 arises. 14-14 in this 1985 Orange Bowl. Danny Bradley lets her rip. Buster Rhymes can't get to the ball. I don't know if they're particularly thrilled with the play of Buster Rhymes running patterns here tonight. He's had some great returns. First time he touched the ball returning a punt, he brought it back 38. But it seems that he and Bradley aren't on the same page on the pass pattern.
Yeah, Don, let's watch this punt now. Washington has come close several times tonight.
They really have. They've got 10 guys looking like they're going to come. Miles is on his own returning it.
See him moving back and forth. Oklahoma tried to point him out. Washington moves.
Again, they made a play on the ball. Wow. Winchester hangs it high, and Miles makes a fair catch at the 49-yard line. Just a 30-yard punt into the wind, but no return. Coach Switzer can get a little exercise on the sidelines. Here he is.
1st down.
Looks like he's going to bite through that bottom lip, doesn't he?
Huskies get it when we come back. 13 opponents are wondering BYU who. Cougars beat everybody they lined up against. Did not beat a team that finished in the top 20, but they did everything any football team could be asked to do. And right now, they're awaiting the outcome of this game as we see who will be the national champion. A tie game, it would appear Trump would lock it up for BYU.
I tend to think there are a lot of TV sets on in the state of Utah. Yes, yes.
Well, they have a coach out there, Liddell Anderson, who's long overdue getting the recognition he deserves. He's been a great football coach, one of the most respected people in the game. Cicero turns upfield and gets the ball down to the 45-yard line.
And it was a busted play. They tried for that reverse spin by the quarterback, trap to Jock Robinson, and Cicero couldn't get the ball up to him. He did the smart thing, just hang on to it.
Troy Johnson ran him down. The weather has been absolutely ideal for this 51st renewal of the Orange Bowl Classic. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Bill McAtee is here with us as we have 2:20 to play in the third quarter, and the game tied as it was at halftime, 14-14. Robinson.
Jock Robinson on the carry.
You've seen a lot of the great runners in the NFL, Trump. They all seem to have that move that doesn't look like they're going anywhere. They give you a little shake of the leg and bang, they're by.
Yeah, he kind of floats. He doesn't appear to have great acceleration off the ball, but he allows his offensive linemen to get into those defensive linemen, then he can find the spot. He's now got 135 yards on 19 rushes.
He's working on a double. Sooners giving up 68 yards a game, #1 in the nation. He could be going to double that individually. 68 yards to the opposing team on the average. Third and short. Sickero's looking deep. And the Sooners catch him.
Fumble. They got it.
Oklahoma sure thinks they do, and the officials concur. Reed or Tony Casillas. We'll see as we look at the replay.
Sickero had a couple of receivers open. Oh, you can see he's busy. He's got Richard Reed in his face. Ball does, in fact, come loose. There's Casillas, 92. It looks like he's wrestling the ball away from a Washington Husky.
Ball might be flat after Big Tony falls on it. Kodiak Bear and the Freeman Crimson of Oklahoma. Long loop pass. And the big play by the Sooners. Steve Sewell gets it coming out of the backfield.
Oklahoma, when it gets the defense breathless, needs to be able to come up with these plays. This is well thrown by Danny Bradley. Right to the sideline. Sewell, probably the most multi-talented player on the team. 30 yards on the catch. Another big play.
He can break the long one. He has a 79-yard touchdown pass play to his credit this season. Handoff. Lydell Carr is going to be ready for about 3 days in the surf of South Florida. He is taking some pounding. They're really keying on that first back through. You just can't play only the option because they can break at the distance, any of these backs. Lydell Carr has been getting a lot of fakes, and he's getting hit when he's not carrying the ball. Third quarter clock winds down, 42 seconds to play. 14-14. #2 Oklahoma with a football. The big play for the Sooners has been the slant-in pattern to sophomore Derek Shepard. It went for 56 and a touchdown at the end of the first half. This time it goes for 13 and a first down.
Bradley's completed 4 passes, 3 to Shepard, 3 on this play. Take that back, 2 on this play. He also ran a square out. They've been throwing the ball rather sparingly, haven't they?
Now starting to make it count, though. Shepard having a big night. 3 catches for 87 yards in the touchdown. So it's first and goal for Oklahoma, where the yards come tough inside the 10. And this will be the final play of the third quarter. Ron Holmes makes the stop on Spencer Tillman. So still a standoff through 3 quarters of play. At the end of the third quarter, the score is the Washington Huskies 14, the Oklahoma Sooners 14. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Each time both teams have got down.
Today's game is brought to you by Nissan. We're changing our name from Datsun to Nissan, known for high-quality cars and trucks. Datsun is now Nissan. By Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. By Soloflex, wishing you a happy and healthy new year. And by the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
The stop the Sooners, you've got to shut down the engine in the offense, Danny Bradley, and let's see what they do now. 2nd down and goal from the 9. Bradley, a quick out. And a good defensive play by Vesti Jackson, the left corner.
Vesti Jackson made the stop.
And that was an awful long throw. We could see that going right away from us. You wondered if Vesti Jackson was going to get there before the ball got to the receiver.
3-yard gain. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 6-yard line. It's Oklahoma asks for a timeout.
So they're going to take a timeout. It's too important down close now with 3rd down coming up. We'll be back after this. The final game of the bowl season, the best matchup, and it's been a great game as we're in the 4th quarter. The Sooners in red, the Huskies in white, locked up as they've been since halftime, 14-all. And now what do we go to, Bob?
I don't know, but I just saw Danny Bradley catch the ear of Buster Rhymes. I'd bet that Buster Rhymes is the primary guy if it's a pass or something funny here.
Well, I like Jackson, the tight end, down close. They haven't gone to him yet. Keith Jackson, the freshman tight end from Little Rock, Arkansas. He's going to keep it. And he's stuffed. Jackson did some hitting, though, out of the 3-point, blocking on the play.
26 people making the stop.
Tight end is always one of the key factors in that triple option. He's the one who bangs that linebacker and then releases. See what we got Jackson doing. He tries to hook him inside and does an excellent job. But Danny Bradley seems to lose his footing.
So now Lasher, a walk-on kicker, ready to try to break the tie. Tough angle to his right. He's 7 of 7 at this distance. And 8 for 8. And the favored Sooners take the lead in the game for the first time with 14:01 to play. A 22-yarder.
Excellent drive the first time this half that Oklahoma's had decent offensive field position. Is Barry Switzer watching on? 8 of 8 now. And a flag is thrown on the Boomer Sooner schooner there for delay of game.
Barry saying this doesn't happen in Norman.
Well, it's AstroTurf in Norman. That thing can get out there and off a little quicker.
Winnipeg Summit, the famed Boomer Sooner schooner, was a factor in the football game. I don't think it'll be out there again.
Switzer will get out there and hold the reins.
There might be a new driver next year. That's
Yeah, we got another try at the field goal.
Ball, illegal procedure on the offense.
That's something. It's still a tie game, 14-14. That Boomer Sooner schooner driver will gain infamy like the guy who runs the snow brush up in Foxborough.
15-yard penalty, Don.
Yes, he's had some tough calls this year, Barry Switzer.
You know what they're doing? They're calling illegal procedure and then adding on the unsportsmanlike conduct for the Conestoga wagon with horses going on the field. That's a 20-yard penalty.
So we should point out the field goal would be negated anyway by the illegal procedure.
Correct.
And the Boomer schooner cost him another 15, so now Lasher has to unload from 42.
Next time we hear that gun go off, we better check those horses.
Blocked by Washington.
Oh, no.
Another penalty marker down. Huskies might have shot early. We'll have to wait and see. Coach Switzer saying that humility's only a week away in this game.
Illegal procedure on the offense. 5 men on the line of scrimmage is declined. It's first down, White.
Referee Jimmy Harper delivering a bad news to the Sooners.
That Sooner schooner was the 12th man on the field, blocked very well by Peoples. Interesting, too, that last year had not had a field goal longer than 36 yards this season. How about that? He's still jawing.
The famed Oklahoma schooner got him another 15, and now the points that were up have come down. A legal procedure call on sportsmanlike penalty, another legal procedure, a blocked field goal then, and now the Huskies have stopped what seemed to be a sure Oklahoma score, and Washington has the ball, and Hugh Millen is in to quarterback Washington. This is the long-range bomber. Ironically, his favorite target, Mark Patterson, teamed with him at Roosevelt High in Seattle. But when they played there, Patterson, the wide receiver, was the quarterback.
Really? I didn't know that.
First down and 10 for Washington. Millen looking long. Big defensive play. Mike Mantle knocked it down. Now while we have a moment, let's go to Bob Costas in New York. Go to Bob Costas in New York.
All right, Don, strange doings at the Orange Bowl. Meanwhile, Nebraska has won the Sugar Bowl 28-10, blowing it open against LSU with 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. This is the first of them. Craig Sundberg to Todd Frayne, 24 yards. Sundberg, the MVP, 3 touchdown passes and a scoring run. Nebraska intercepted 5 passes. That ties a Sugar Bowl record.
Thank you, Bob. Nothing wrong with Nebraska. Barry Switzer says, I'm not sure they're not the best team in the country. He said, I know we don't want to play them again. Oklahoma did beat Nebraska, though, 17-7. Handoff, and the Sooners riled up by missing the field goal and the subsequent misconnections. Richard Reed was through to make the knockdown. No question that Washington is going to be a firing now because Oklahoma is shutting down the running game, and Millen is the long-range passer.
They've not gone to Robinson either in this series. They've had good success. I'm sure we got an Orange Bowl record, too. Longest penalty on a wagon in the Orange Bowl. Wow, what a play. What a bonehead play.
That's right. Millen, big rush, screen pass, but he threw it to one of his offensive linemen, his center, Dan Ernestine. Dan made a nice catch, but it's not what they were looking for. Dan thought maybe nobody noticed. He kept running.
Yeah, tough for Hugh Millen to come in here. He's been sitting for 3 quarters and then got to come out and direct a big drive. He got leveled, absolutely leveled when he let the ball go.
Millen is not at all inexperienced, though. He started the first 8 games of the season for the Washington Huskies. They bogged down against Arizona, and that's when Cicero came in. Cicero was at QB in the only loss against the Trojans at the Coliseum. And now, the Sooner defense rising up, and Washington has to punt the ball. And Buster Rhymes, who's ripped off 138-yard punt return high in that end zone. Sonny Brown up front to talk to Buster and lead the blocking. Back as a double safety, Sonny Brown. Long punt, but it'll come back now. Buster signals a fair catch, makes a diving one at the 50. A 36-yard punt, and the Sooners get the ball back in this tie game with excellent field position. But nothing like they had a little bit earlier when they had first and goal and didn't get points. We'll be back to the 1985 Orange Bowl right after this. An unusual Orange Bowl moment and an unfortunate one for the Sooners when the schooner driver brought his team of horses out on the field, got an unsportsmanlike penalty, and then the subsequent field goal was blocked. We're going to have Bill McAtee talking to that driver. He's going to go down in the history books with the guy who drives the snow machine up in Washington, New England.
Let me give a word of advice to that guy. Head that wagon out the exit. Don't talk to anybody. Make sure that you give a false name and address.
How about those little horses?
Well, I think they're all right. I mean, they're just following orders, right?
Don James might give him a carrot or an apple.
Can you have a wagon as the most valuable player defensively?
Now the Sooners have the ball, though. First down and 10. Sewell works working hard, and he gets 6 yards. Let's go and find out about that Sooner schooner. Bill?
All right, Don, we want to get to the bottom of this bizarre penalty that we saw. First of all, why were you on the field?
We've been okayed with the Orange Bowl official to take the schooner onto the field after touchdowns and field goals. We had that okay before the game. The referee signaled a field goal, and we took the schooner out, just like we've been okayed to do.
And we're a little surprised about the penalty?
That's the first time we've got a penalty since 1965 for having the schooner on the field.
Rather bizarre scene. Back to the action.
And back to live action on 2nd down and 4. Straight ahead they go down to the 40-yard line. Steve Sewell runs the ball.
Ron Holmes, number 92.
With 12 minutes left to play. Ron Holmes and David Rill were on the stop. The story of this game not complete until the full story of the Sooner schooner is written. Wouldn't that be something that cost Oklahoma a football game?
Yes. On second half, Oklahoma had outstanding field position, and you've got to marvel at the Washington defense. Tell them to no points.
3rd and short yardage. A strike at the line of scrimmage by Ron Holmes, but Lydell Carr spins off it on the freshman from Enid, Oklahoma, who's really taken some hits tonight. Gets ahead for the 1st down yardage, so the Sooners drive on. The electronic age marches on. This is part of a new innovation in sports television, the Skycam. This is the computer setup high up in the press box. Then out over the field, the Skycam on cables. Look at it, going all around like something out of Star Wars.
I'm disappointed. I thought Steven Spielberg would be up there running that thing.
He wishes he invented it. Now we have Danny Bradley throwing the ball. He's sacked. He does get the ball away, but it's an incomplete pass going to his tight end, Jackson. Fred Small putting the rush on him, number 5, the all Pac-10 linebacker.
Don, throughout this ball game, Washington has disguised their intentions defensively very well. There you see the late blitz, a very late blitz by Roberts on the outside. There's Small coming. Finally, he gets the ball off. Danny Bradley does, but now 5 of 14, 120 yards and a touchdown. Not good stats for Danny Bradley tonight.
We're in the 4th quarter. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. The 1985 Orange Bowl. The game is tied 14-14. As Bradley on 2nd down fires, very nearly picked up by the Huskies. Jackson actually had to knock that ball away. He became the defender.
Joe Kelly was the man who almost made the play. You'll see Jackson come underneath all that linebacker coverage, and Kelly with great quickness right there. Now watch Jackson.
Brings up a 3rd.
He made the tackle.
Kelly can catch it too. 5 interceptions this year.
Yeah, I think he's got a cramp, Don.
Tremendous player.
It's hot and humid. Interesting, Washington has this deal, you know about this too, where if they lose the 4th quarter in the regular season, Don James makes them run. Even if they win the game, if they lose point-wise the 4th quarter, they have to go through more conditioning.
Right now we go to 3rd down and 10. Bradley rolling, keeping, look out. Danny Bradley, and a big open field tackle by Tim Peoples. Might have saved 6. 12-yard gain as it was, and the Sooners start to mount another challenge in this tie game.
Now, once again, what you see here is one guy trying to block Danny Bradley. About 8 times out of 10, Bradley will break that tackle. Peoples is the best defensive back in the open field tackling that Washington has. That's certainly good luck for them, but they keep firing that wishbone at you.
Every year, the Orange Bowl concludes the bowl season. Every year, a spectacular game in the recent years. Sewell with a darting move, and he gets inside the 25-yard line. Joe Kelly, father played briefly with the Los Angeles Rams. He's the number 1 tackler on the Washington team. Just a junior, undersized linebacker, only weighs 205, but hits a ton. Talk about a couple of fiery players igniting a whole defense. He's certainly one of those. The other inside backer, another one, the Ember.
Uh-oh, we got an audible here. Nope.
Lydell Carr listed Trump at only 195, but he plays a lot bigger than that as he comes down to the 20-yard line.
Leading rusher this season for the Sooners. Did you see Bradley hit the top of his helmet? a couple of days ago in practice, they were running offense against Washington, and that was an audible. They don't have word audibles. They have just they have communication between the quarterback and the receiver, and they run the audible play.
Third down coming up now. 3rd and 3. Free ball. Washington hoping they have it. That's the signal from the Huskies, but we'll wait till they peel off the bodies. Steve Sewell looked like he was going to.
They got it.
Again, the #1 team in the country at freeing the football and forcing turnovers, delivers again.
No. Oklahoma.
We had one signal the other way.
Yes. It's not enough for a first down either. You'll see Collins come up through here and takes another great hit by Tafono, ball loose. And then it's a scramble. I'm telling you, the officials they're blind in that situation. There's no way to determine who, in fact, has that ball. That's the 7th time Oklahoma's put it on the ground. They've lost for 2.
Now a 35-yard field goal by Lasher. Plenty into it. He's through.
Somebody grab the horses.
Not to be found. There they are at the corner.
Anchored. Flat tires.
Get the wheel off that wagon. So Oklahoma takes the lead.
Lasher to kick off.
Lasher kicks it off now. David Trimble takes it at the 2-yard line for Washington. Out to the 26-yard line. And the Huskies go on offense again, now trailing for the first time in the game, 17-14. Hugh Millen is staying in at quarterback. Cicero worked the first 3 quarters and part of the 4th, and Hugh Millen came in. Washington now needing to go a long way to get range, and they're not looking for ties in this one. The proud Huskies in from the Pac-10 playing in their first Orange Bowl, and the first time they've ever lined up against Oklahoma. Free ball again. Looks like Washington has it.
Washington retains control.
I'll tell you what, it may have something to do with the heat and humidity, but
I think it is a slippery ball.
the ball is certainly been hard to handle. That's the 10th fumble of the night.
Surprisingly few have been lost, though.
This is that trap up the middle. It's kind of the sprint draw for Washington. They were very lucky to get that ball back, Don.
Got the ball and got a yard at 2nd down and 9. 8:12 to play, clock running, 4th quarter. Sooners in red lead the game 17-14. Millen throws, and it's over the outstretched arms of the tight end, Roten.
88-20, Roten.
It's got to be tough for a guy to come in, as you pointed out, waiting for 3 quarters and come in when you have to throw.
Yeah, a little more to that. He started the first 8. Has not really played much since then. In the 4-week wait to play this game, he's got to be game rusty. There's no question about that. Washington tonight also just 1 of 9 in 3rd down conversions. And the Oklahoma defense is very good at stopping opponents. Only 26% of the time do they convert those 3rd downs.
Millen waits and throws, and the ball is taken down by Danny Green. 3rd and 10, and the Huskies deliver for 28 yards.
Green has been outstanding. This has got to help Millen, too, for the rest of the ball game. Really give him a good pump. That's the first time he's really fired it down there. Hutch Green, this is an excellent catch. His 4th of the night for 96 yards and a touchdown.
The outset of the season, he was an All-American in the preseason selector's opinion. Didn't catch that many balls this year, 29. But he's having a big concluding game of his career for the Huskies. Now they have first down. Look at this, up the middle. Straight ahead goes the fullback, Rick Fenny, on a quick trap block. They were looking pass, keying on Robinson, and Fenny got the ball and rips it down inside the 20-yard line.
Don, I got to see this one again, but I don't think they blocked the 2 defensive tackles. I think they just, let's watch the offensive line. Let's see what happens. Oh, it is a trap, an excellent trap.
Oh,
and Fenny's already 5 yards down the field before anybody realizes. 27 yards on the carry.
One of the strongest Huskies, sophomore fullback Rick Fenny. Washington trailing, but now challenging inside the 20. 7:10 to play in the game. Jock Robinson with a lot of carries and a lot of welts as the Sooners are knocking on him all night long, and Coach Switzer pacing those sidelines hard as Miliazzo of Oklahoma made the tackle.
Not a bad night.
4-yard gain on the play.
Especially when you consider once again that Oklahoma had allowed their opponents an average of 68 yards rushing per ball game. Jock Robinson's put that one to rest, hasn't he?
Big game for Jock, but they need more right now, do the Huskies, as they trail 17-14. 6:30 to play in the game. Clock running. Fenny got it once, go again, but he didn't get much on 2nd and 6. Got a couple. The Huskies well within field goal range, but they want more than that, trailing in the game 17-14.
Now, the most important thing here, keep possession of the football. We've seen an awful lot of turnovers by both teams down in the red zone, as you call it, inside the 30-yard line.
Washington has a lot of interesting plays that we haven't seen yet. One's due anytime. They're looking for that end zone. Timing pattern. Patterson, touchdown.
Wait a minute, he come down in bounds?
They said he did. The arms went up. Mark Patterson's first catch of the night. As his high school teammate, Hugh Millen, delivers to him. The roles reversed now. Patterson was the quarterback in high school.
The officials did not hesitate for a split second. This is well thrown by Millen. Yes, his feet are down. Excellent call by the officials. Nice little fade pattern. That's a nice drive by Washington.
So the Huskies deliver under pressure, and they now come from behind. A most important extra point would give them a 4-point lead, which they get. And the Sooners now have to go into the end zone to win this game with 5:42 to play. That's a different 19. It was 19 Mark Patterson who caught the ball. A lot of the Huskies wear duplicate numbers. Washington in the lead.
This is a fine throw by Millen. This is a 74-yard drive, 12 yards, touchdown to Patterson. His first catch of the night. Watch Barry Switzer. Come on, he's saying, what's going on out there?
So the Huskies, after they lose the lead for the first time in the game, drive right down the field and finally connect on a scoring throw. Millen to Patterson, and now it's Washington, a 21-17 leader, 5:42 to play. Jaeger ready to kick the ball off for Washington. Buster Rhymes, he fumbled it out of bounds. Returning kicks, Trump, you're out there alone, and this was a killer for the Sooners. Perhaps still a lot of time left.
5:41 left. This decision, you got to know where that sideline is and what you're going to do with it. That ball bouncing off his chest makes it 1st and 98.
He was looking at the coverage, never caught the ball, but Switzer showing something here. He's putting Rhymes right in the lineup, putting him out as a wideout. Oklahoma down by 4 in the 4th quarter, 5:40 to play. Ball was tipped. It's intercepted. And down to the 2-yard line goes Joe Kelly. They were going to Rhymes, but it never got away from the line of scrimmage.
Bradley really gets pressured. You can see people just with their hands up. Holmes again. Ball tipped up. A jump ball for Joe Kelly. Huskies have it. This is a marvelous effort by Ron Holmes. He's been double teamed and dirty and hurt and tired and sweaty. And that fourth quarter that we talked about, this is one of the most well-conditioned football teams you'll find in the country. It's paid off.
Right now, the Huskies load up the offense with a 1st and goal coming up from 3 yards away from the Sooner end zone.
Too much time.
That's expensive. Delay a game is the signal. It'll cost Washington 5 yards, so it'll be 2nd and goal. Now let's go down to Bill McAdee.
All right, Don, we're with Bob Lafferty, the president of the Orange Bowl committee. We want to put a lid on this once and for all. Did the mascot, the wagon, have your permission to come on the field?
No, that's the referee's call. It's not ours. The Orange Bowl committee has nothing to do with that at all. So they may do that in Norman, Oklahoma, but right here, it's not something that the referees are not allowed to do.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob. Back upstairs.
So after the penalty now, Washington set to go 1st and goal from the 8. There's a major league pop by freshman Brian Bosworth.
We haven't called his name a lot tonight, Don. Washington's done a great job on Bosworth. We beat it on Thursday. No, I think it was Saturday. He kind of hurt his knee a little bit. But watch Casillas. He's been down and dirty all night long. He does a good job on him there. He runs from behind the play.
So now 2nd down and goal comes up for the Huskies. They lead the game 21-17, 4:55 to play. Millen to Finney, and he's into the end zone.
This is a cutback by Finney. A 6-yard run for a touchdown. He was basically untouched until he got to the goal line.
Finney with some big plays, and they weren't looking for him on all of them. Extra point is up and good, and now with 4:48 to play, the Huskies extend their lead to 11. The Sooners need 2 touchdowns to win this.
Look at the cutback. Great job by Maher. He cut off the defensive end, cut down the pursuit, allowed Finney to get the end zone. No one there to touch him until he's in the end zone.
And a great second look. A terrific job again by our NBC technicians as Rick Finney takes it in for a Washington lead of 11. The Washington Huskies standing tall in a tough game. They now open up an 11-point lead in the 4th quarter as sophomore fullback Rick Finney just busted in. And now this whole number 1 scenario takes an interesting twist as Rhymes returns the kickoff. Right up the middle he goes and is finally knocked down at the 24-yard line. The scenario taking a turn towards Washington. You have to consider the Huskies beating the number 2 team in the country by a decided margin at the moment.
And you know, Don, the ironic thing is that all the press down here in Miami has questioned Don James on his BYU number 1. He said, I'll play him next year. I don't have anything to say about that.
Right now for Oklahoma, it's got to be wide open football. They've got to start firing deep, needing 2 touchdowns. And here comes Bradley to do it. Throwing a catch, but not for much. He got Patrick Collins coming out of the backfield. And you see the game clock winding down in the 4th quarter. Jim Rockford, he had a couple of big plays for the Sooners, intercepting 2 first-half passes.
He can't believe it.
Rick Fenny, happy to be here and very happy to have been in the end zone a moment ago. Another throw. Oh, two that Steve Sewell's dropped in the open field.
I don't know that he can throw it much better than that.
He's been out for a couple of games. A foot fracture kept him out of half the Nebraska game and all of the Oklahoma State game. But he's running good patterns, has just not been able to connect with the ball downfield. And it brings up 3rd down and 6.
How about the slant pass?
Worked before. Derek Shepard at the top of your screen. You got it, but it doesn't work. And it's very nearly a Washington football. Now, here we go, Trump with 4th down. Washington's going to be working hard to get back in the end zone. They're going to be a factor in the final voting if they win this big.
I agree with you. That ball is tipped just as Danny Bradley throws it from behind the line of scrimmage, Don. Washington has gotten in Bradley's face all night long.
Might not punt. Needing 2 touchdowns with 4:02 to play. Going to hit it. Good one, too. Ball is hammered downfield by Mike Winchester. Ron Miles brings it back for the Huskies, and he gets it to the 31-yard line. 50-yard punt, a 9-yard return with 3:48 to play in the game. Sunday, January 6th, NBC Sports will be right back here at the Orange Bowl as the excitement in pro football continues. The AFC Championship game, the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Miami Dolphins. NFL 84 gets underway at 12 noon with host Bob Costas. A big day as the Steelers and the Dolphins, longtime rivals in the American Conference, hook up for the right to go to the Super Bowl. Right now, Washington working hard to get some votes in the final rankings. Some first place votes as they go to the run, and Fenny takes it, gets out across, breaks it again, and gets it to the 45-yard line, gains 15 yards.
Now, once again, to put this in its perspective, Oklahoma playing in the Big 8, which is a very tough rushing conference, has allowed an average of 68 yards rushing by their opponents. That average has been destroyed by Washington tonight.
Fenny is an extraordinarily strong football player. Bench presses close to 500 pounds, believe it or not, for a 235-pound fullback. As a man is being attended to, that's Ricky Dixon, one of the safeties. We'll be back at the Orange Bowl after this. Back now to live action, 4th quarter, 1st and 10, Washington. Jock Robinson weaving ahead, and he gets to the 47-yard line. An unusual turn of events in the bowl season. Brigham Young winning, concluding with a 13-0 record. And the conversation was all about Oklahoma winning by at least 2 touchdowns here to overtake them. But now we see underdog Washington holding to a 28-17 lead, and the Huskies will be looking for more. There are, of course, 2 polls that determine the mythical national championship. Surely an inexact science in determining the national titleist. But Washington's going to get a lot of consideration from fellow coaches of Don James after this showing against second-ranked Oklahoma. Fenny breaks open again, and Rick Fenny, the big power back, takes it down to the 42-yard line. Guy's trouble. 11 yards.
11 yards on the carry. Washington now has 2 backs with almost 200 yards rushing, Fenny and Jock Robinson. Now, Don, a few days ago at Washington's practice out at the University of Miami, they had stories. Highest total this season. That's the story of the game. Washington's been able to control the football. I'll tell you about their locker room in a minute.
We see the game clock winding down close to 2 minutes. Pitch back. Jock Robinson gets to the 40 on 1st down, and that was all. As the clock now down to 1:58 and winding down.
At the University of Miami, Washington had put up a great many articles that were written with quotes from Oklahoma football players. And there were paragraphs in yellow and several comments from Oklahoma players saying, we don't think this will be a very tough game. This is for the national championship. We think we can handle Washington. Well,
And, of course, we will be talking with the winning coach of the 1985 Orange Bowl immediately after the game. Right now, Don James looks like the man who will have the microphone in front of him. As with 1:25 to play, quarterback Hugh Millen calls a timeout to get some counsel from Coach James.
This is an awful big win for Don James, too. This year he lost to USC and missed a chance at the Pac-10 title. And in the 2 previous years, he lost to Washington State for a chance at the Pac-10 title. This is a big win for Don James.
If by some ironic turn of events Washington should win the national championship, they'd be the first team to do it that didn't win their own conference.
That meant something.
We'd like to give a special thanks to Hal Fleming, who is the production manager of the Orange Bowl. He's retiring after being with the Orange Bowl, well, they say on the card forever. He's been a part of it a long time, and it's a great event with all the people of South Florida behind a classic now in its 51st year. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. As right now, the Huskies break the huddle. They come to the 41-yard line. 2nd down and 9. Robinson working for yards. So many people make an event like this as good as it is on television. The great pictures as Barry Switzer now wants a timeout. And we can tell you the executive producer of NBC Sports, Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of football is Ted Nathanson. Tonight's telecast was produced by George Finkel. Director and halftime producer John Gonzalez. Halftime directed by Bob Levy. Technical director Lenny Stucker. And we thank them all and all the people from NBC Sports who put this game on the air, as Washington with 2 timeouts and Barry Switzer and the Sooners with none at all, as the Huskies are closing in on a big upset win.
Look at there. They're having fun down here, aren't they?
They've been down here a while. They came down December 21st.
J.C. Pearson there celebrating. Robinson's gotten 141 yards rushing. Benny 66. It's 2:07. Oklahoma came into the ball game tonight. Major college football's #1 rushing defense.
And our thanks to NBC statistician Ross Schneiderman, to assistant statistician Bobby Harris, to our spotter for Oklahoma, Jeff Seal, and our spotter for Washington, Craig Hayamoto. In New York, the studio show was produced by Tom Roy and directed by J.D. Hansen. As we go to live action now, 3rd down and 8. 1:14 to go. Pitch back to Jacques Robinson.
Jacques Robinson on the carry. Knocked down by David Pickard.
Game clock winding down under a minute. So for Barry Switzer, who's seen this happen before, his Sooners coming in favor with a possible shot at the Golden Ring, the national title. He was upset by Arkansas in '78. Oklahoma powerless to stop the clock. Don James and the Huskies, as Coach James said from the outset, we like being an underdog. It doesn't happen often, and particularly with the long layoff between the end of the regular season and the bowl game, you like your players thinking that somebody expects them to be beaten.
Don, they fought and scrapped tonight. And they beat Oklahoma the way no one could have expected they'd beat him, and that is with rushing the football.
Great blocking schemes up front. And the Huskies are calling out that we're #1. We go to the polls. Midnight tonight, the votes will be called. Due to the length of tonight's game, the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson will not be seen. Stay tuned for local news, followed by Late Night with David Letterman. And, of course, after the game, we'll be talking to the winning coach. Ball is snapped and punted, and it's going to go back to the Sooners one more time with 24 seconds to play. 27-yard punt, and now Oklahoma just has to pack the gun and fire long.
I don't know if they have a 12-point play in their playbook, but I want them to play some more. This has been an awful good football game to watch.
Sooners getting set with 23 seconds to go. Washington 28, Oklahoma 17. Bradley.
No flag.
Firing to nobody, and now Stanley Parker comes in. It'll be a long it down.
Intentional grounding. Holmes again, right in his face.
And also, Trump, while we have a moment to thank some of the people from the Orange Bowl committee, there are so many who make this a great event year after year. Robert Lafferty, the president. Jack Hale, the president-elect. Stan Marks, vice president. Larry Adams, vice president. Lewis Hall, the secretary-treasurer. And other Orange Bowl notables like Steve Hudson, Steve Lynch, Ernie Seiler, Nick Crane, Charles Kimbrell, and all the people who make the Orange Bowl a great thing to be a part of, and NBC Sports is proud to be here and bring it to you.
They do know how to entertain you, don't they?
They lead the league in party. And in great football games, the third time in the last 4 years, their game has had a bearing on the national championship. Hey, that was almost a very big interception.
For Buster Rhymes, incomplete.
15 seconds to go now.
Well, I just can't give enough credit to Don James and his staff. They faced an offense that had been struggling in Oklahoma, but nevertheless, every time Oklahoma had the ball, Washington had to figure, here comes the wishbone. They defensed it beautifully, magnificently. And the offense that was the difference in the ball game.
Washington only one loss this year, and that was the Pac-10 champion, Southern California, the victor in the end. NBC coverage of the Rose Bowl today at Pasadena. Here's the slant pattern to Buster Rhymes.
Maybe Bradley ought to try just giving it to him instead of throwing it to him.
There's one of the real good Sooners, had an interception tonight. That's the strong safety, Sonny Brown.
That's Brian, Rick Bryan's little brother.
Steve. When you wear the crimson and cream of Oklahoma, you don't taste defeat very often. 84% wins under Barry Switzer. Washington led 14-0 first quarter. Sooners tied it at halftime 14-all. Scoreless third quarter. Sooners took the lead 17-14. Then the Huskies came back with 2 unanswered touchdowns. And it looks like that's where it'll be at the final gun.
Been 3 years, too, since Oklahoma was here. Barry Switzer said, as long as Nebraska had those triplets, Rozier, Turner Gill, Irving Fryer, we had no chance. He wanted a better showing tonight by his ball club. Say hello to Dad, Lonzel.
Well, if they end up not number 1, I'm sure they'd like a crack at BYU this season. They'll get one next year. But again, you cannot discount or certainly lessen the achievement of the Brigham Young Cougars, lining up against 13 opponents and beating them all. That's be it. The Huskies, traveling in 3,000 miles, hoist the victor. Coach Don James, who finishes 11-1, the best record in Washington football history. You hear about how well this team is coached, and we certainly saw it illustrated tonight. The Sooners were favored. The Huskies did all the good things you have to do to beat a great opponent.
Washington was superbly prepared, mentally, physically. They won the fourth quarter. That's where they won the game.
Coach Barry Switzer with a team finishing 9-2-1. And I'll tell you about this about Switzer. It's an awful tough time for any coach to come off the field in a big game like this. The loser, but he'll handle it very well. Going over to congratulate Coach James, and we're going to have Bill McAtee on the sideline talking with Coach Don James, as right now he's going to get the Orange Bowl trophy, a thing of beauty, a presentation right at midfield.
That's nice to watch, isn't it? Really an underdog. First time a Pac-10 opponent comes to the Orange Bowl. First meeting between these two coaches and two teams. There's a celebrating going on in Seattle. Last weekend, this team from Seattle didn't fare too well in this Orange Bowl. The Huskies made up for it tonight.
Great win for the Washington Huskies, as the 51st Orange Bowl concludes with Washington scoring 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns after trailing in the game 17-14. And now, the vote will be taken. The NBC poll of the Associated Press indicated the support would be for Brigham Young, no matter what Washington won by. But when they close the curtain and go to the voting booth, who knows what's going to happen.
Lonzel Hill has taken his jersey off, dignifying winner number 1. That's a supreme sacrifice right there.
a moment. Let's go to Bob Costas in New York. Then we'll be back with Coach Don James. Bob?
As Don Criqui put it so well, the information which we received earlier this week in our survey of every member of the Associated Press panel seems to indicate that Brigham Young is safe at number 1. Washington wins. They finish at 11-1, 28-17. They are to be congratulated. But we asked all of those Associated Press voters what it would take for Washington to overtake Brigham Young. Apparently, under no circumstances will it happen. Let's look at the results of that poll. We asked them, what if Washington wins by 2 touchdowns or more, and they won today by 11? They'd pick up some support, but not enough. So unless a lot of people change their minds, Brigham Young at 13-0 will be the national champion, according to the Associated Press. Now, in other games, on Bowl Day 85, a lot of record-setting performances. We begin with the Fiesta Bowl, seen on NBC. UCLA overcame a 21-7 deficit, beat Miami 39-37. This was part of it. Our Fiesta Bowl record 72-yard scoring run by Gaston Green. That breaks the mark of 64 yards set in 1980 by Penn State's Kurt Warner. The third of 3 John Lee field goals ultimately won it in the last minute for UCLA, 39-37. Boston College set a Cotton Bowl record with 45 points as they beat Houston 45-28. Doug Flutie threw for 3 touchdowns. This was a record in the losing cause for the Cougars. Earl Allen running back a kickoff 98 yards, the longest in the lengthy history of the Cotton Bowl game, but not enough for the Cougars. The Boston College Eagles wind up 10-2 with their 45-28 victory. Now, in the Rose Bowl, USC won the game, but the records belong to the Buckeyes of Ohio State in their 20-17 loss. It begins with this one by Rich Spangler in the 3rd quarter, a 52-yard field goal. Ironically, Steve Jordan of USC had a pair of 51-yarders. And a receiving record for the Buckeyes' Chris Carter. He caught 9 passes, including this 18-yard 4th quarter touchdown from Mike Tomczak, good for a record 172 yards. However, the Buckeyes fall short, losing it 20-17. USC was able to contain Keith Byers, not stop him, but contain him. 23 carries, 109 yards. Now the Pac-10 representative has defeated the Big Ten representative 10 times in the last 11 years in the Rose Bowl. And in the Sugar Bowl today at the Superdome, down in New Orleans, Nebraska, after spotting LSU a 10-0 lead, roars back to win 28-10. They tied a Sugar Bowl record by intercepting 5 LSU passes. Quarterback Craig Sundberg threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for another in the winning cause for Nebraska. Now let's go back down to the Orange Bowl, see what's happening once again to wrap things up, the Oklahoma-Washington game.
Welcome back to the Orange Bowl, where Bob Lafferty is about to make the presentation to Don James. Bob.
Hey, Don, it's bedlam down here, but you've got the Orange Bowl committee. You're the #1 team in the country, and congratulations. And we'd like to give you this trophy. It's all yours to take way back to the West Coast.
Well, thank you very much. This has been a great 2 weeks for us, and I'm very proud of our players. They played well, and we've got a great football game here.
Thank you so much for coming, and best wishes in the future.
Don, I've got to ask you, and it's pretty obvious how these guys feel behind me, but who's the #1 team in the country and why?
Well, I know they're going to get 2 votes, my vote and Barry's, but they played well, and I think they deserve it.
I must ask you now about the change at quarterback.
Well, we had a pretty good wind down here, and we wanted to get a stronger arm in there going against the wind because we felt we'd have to throw.
With about a minute and a half left, you had the ball, an 11-point lead, and some people were a little surprised you didn't open it up and try to put some more points on the board.
I can't hear. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear your question. You
had little decorum, please. You had an 11-point lead, a minute and a half left, and you had the ball. Some people were surprised that you didn't try to put some more points on the board.
Now we're just delighted with the win. A lot of points didn't excite me.
Okay, Don, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Back upstairs to Don Criqui.
Thank you, Bill, and congratulations to Coach Don James and his Washington Huskies on one of the great wins in his great career, upsetting Oklahoma in the 51st Orange Bowl game. Our thanks to Wade Walker, the athletic director at Oklahoma, and Mike Treps, his sports information director, to Washington athletic director Mike Lute and Chuck Niemeyer, who've done such a great job helping us prepare as the Huskies go off the field. The untold story in college football when you're talking about #1 is what Don James talked about, though. The AP writers might want Brigham Young outright, and maybe they deserve it outright. But I'll tell you this, there's going to be a lot of coaches that are going to support this great victory by Washington over the #2 team in the country.
Final comment from me, it's a New Year's Day sweep for the Pac-10. 3 games, 3 victories.
That's right. UCLA winning in the Fiesta Bowl on NBC Sports. USC in the Rose Bowl over Ohio State. And now Washington standing tall, winning the 51st Orange Bowl game. Now for Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui. Don Criqui, as we thank you for joining us here at the 51st Orange Bowl game. Washington a 28-17 victor. And now we wait for the votes in this inexact science of picking national champions. They'd love to play Brigham Young next week, and I'm sure Lavelle Anderson and the Cougars would welcome the challenge were it possible. That's it from the 51st Orange Bowl. Glad you could be with us on NBC Sports.